I'm here. No, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. And I'm over here. And I'm over here. Here. Then I'm here. And I'm over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Over here. Ooh. I'm Seth Rollins. And that was my synchronized dance.
Yes, it is I, Holly Cameron, and I'm in your phones, but I'm also making an appearance on True Heel Heat. I've been told it's a fantastic podcast. Why haven't you had me on it, huh? Where's my invitation? I think you guys need to feel the right. I'm at Comic-Con today, but I think we need to get some, some rap in the show. So let me know.
Hello, this is RJ City, and I am ethically opposed to any more wrestling podcasts. I don't know why you guys are talking about wrestling. It is a niche product. It is a very small industry. Yet, at this point, there's more wrestling podcasts than there are wrestlers. There is something wrong with society as a whole, but as you get smaller and smaller into wrestling, and then the wrestling podcast sphere, it gets even worse. And one such example, if I may turn on the microscope and look at the drudgery that happens to be True Heel Heat. SP3, Sid, this is your fault.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for Rated Raw Review, episode 110, Family Feud, breaking down and recapping last night's Monday Night Raw for March 9th, 2026, where a bunch of families were broken apart, people defending their family, and one of the stupidest WWE segments of the year so far, all in one night. The juxtaposition of WWE in 2026. And we're here to break it all down as only we can. And of course, to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague. He is the resident true heel alcoholic himself, and he needed a lot of alcohol to watch the rest of this Monday Night Raw after the opening segment. He is the one and only Top Guy JJ. How you doing?
You know, if it wasn't for you, I would not have finished this episode. You saw my text last night. That was literally me just turning it on. And that was the first thing I saw. And I literally swiped my phone up. I swiped up. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. But then you said something else. And I was like, fuck. All right. I gotta at least know how bad things get. So I gave myself like a 2-hour break to prepare myself. And then I proceeded to watch. And you know, it wasn't as god awful for the rest of the show as I imagined.
I did say I was like they gave you the worst segment of the night, maybe of the year in the first segment.
Yeah. So it's very rare that the worst part of the show is in the first 10 minutes.
Usually they start the show off good and then it goes downhill. Yeah. They started downhill and made their way up.
But I need you to apologize. I need you to apologize for making me live through that shit again. Live. In my face on the StreamYard. Well, you might as well have had Sid in Harlem running around with you and just completed the entire thing. It would have been much cuter and much better. But no. I had to use my imagination and watch your ass run around the fucking screen by yourself.
I'm sorry that you never apologized for bad-mouthing Booker T. You never apologized for bad-mouthing Baron Corbin. You didn't apologize for something that you did when you were 16 years old that I have nothing to do with. It's not my place to bring it up, but you didn't apologize for that, so I'm not sorry for being accountable for what I had to do.
That's fair.
We just gave them the first segment and the closing segment all in one, all in the first 10 minutes of the show.
That's fair. I will not apologize for any of my words prior to what I said today. No, not at all. I don't apologize to Uncle Toms and bums.
Appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all for watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. You could drop a thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We got a busy week ahead for AEW Revolution week and weekend. We had yesterday our NXT Vengeance Day review. Today we got Rated Raw review. Tomorrow I'm doing a solo review, live perspective of Eve Wrestle Queendom, one of the best shows I've been to in over a year, pretty much. And we'll also got AE Ramble reviewing AEW Dynamite, AEW Revolution preview, watch party, and review. And of course, the True Heel Heat flagship podcast. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified. And if you're with us on demand, comment down below. Let us know what you thought about last night's Monday Night Raw. And if you're with us live, we want you to be a part of the conversation. We want you to be a part of the show. So sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you and hear your thoughts on last night's Monday Night Raw. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here. You want to make sure your comment is highlighted on screen and give your thoughts, your hot takes, your opinions on WWE Raw last night. You can send a super chat donation Any dollar amount matters. It goes right to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate the support. We got Zach Minger, who lets us know it's Happy Mario Day. Does Mario come out today?
No, it's March 10th, so MAR10.
Learn something new every day. Thank you for that. Yes, Happy Mario Day to everyone who celebrates.
Happy Mario Day, y'all. Appreciate y'all for bringing that up. Happy Mario Day.
We got Eric Isaac who says, hey, THH fam, it's official. The original Judgment Day crew are all gone now. And could we are seeing Punk versus the Bloodline heading into Mania, and the Danhausen curse continues this time on Grande. He meant the original El Grande, because the other El Grande was perfectly fine. He came out perfectly fine. We got Volop who says this is a POV of SP3 playing with his kids. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we could have at least gotten that. We could have at least gotten a double run in, and I would have felt way better about watching whatever the fuck you did in the first 30 seconds.
Hey, I put in more effort than they did.
I mean, I hate when I can't argue back, but
we got Prime Time in the chat. Thanks for joining us today. We got King Davion who says, I was 7 minutes late watching Raw, and I see a promo and Masked Man dancing. What the hell was that? Your guess is as good as ours.
All you missed for the first 7 minutes was people walking into the arena, and you saw Adam Pearce. That's literally your first 7 minutes of the show.
Pretty much. Chuck Berry says, what's good, THH fam? Well, I guess the name Jimmy means standing on business, because my boy was not playing with Punk last night. Jimmy Uso proved once again he is the better of the Usos when it comes to promo work.
The fact that he doesn't get more promo work is a crime.
Yeah.
Because he's so versatile. He's so versatile. And he is criminally underrated when it comes to him having a microphone in his hand, because you could literally see yourself saying what he said.
Yes. And the fact that CM Punk still didn't get it, it was hilarious. It was like, this is very much Punk being his real life self.
That was Phil last night. That was definitely Phil last night.
And I love every Bloodline member just calls him Phil. Doesn't even call him Punk.
Yeah, no need.
Valo says WWE single-handedly keeping the black hoodie industry thriving. Indeed there are. We got a new face in the chat, Lionheart Fitness. Thanks for joining us. And what's good, bros? Good to see you in the chat. Doing well. We got Power Drive Finisher says, thanks, Vala, for your comment. I had to rewind to see that open. I'm glad Valop's review made you rewind back. We got Dion who says, I'm personally over the crowd doing the yeeting, but I understand how it can be a fun, interactive part of the show, but the crowd chanting holy shit at this Masked Man thing may be as an all-time disconnect for me from what I'm seeing to the response from the crowd. Yeah, I'm like... of course, Romeo was defending this segment in our chat, and he was like, well, the crowd loved it. I was like, the crowd paid a mortgage to go to that show. They will eat any shit WWE gives them. I'm convinced at this point when they're chanting holy shit to mass synchronized dancing.
This comes twofold for me. Yes, completely. Like, why? But I'm not going to sit here and tell the crowd not to participate for money that they spent.
Yeah.
Like they all spent that money. Like they spent that money. They said, we going to have a good time regardless of whatever shit they give us, but we just going to have a good time. And you know what? I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that because actually when the crowd is hype, it kind of makes me watch it a little bit more because at least they're invested. So it's like, fuck, I'm watching the shit on a television screen for free. Why not try to, at least watch?
Yeah.
They were fucking Seattle had a ball last night.
They did.
Seattle had a ball last night. Like Seattle
and they got some good wrestling, good angles and segments throughout the rest of the show. So if they could do anything to make this segment better, they tried their best with the holy shit chants and being engaged in it.
Yeah. Because I ain't gonna lie, when that shit happened, I was like, wait. I know I'm an old human, but am I missing something?
Or maybe it was like an ironic, you know how like when the crowd for AEW does the when Orange Cassidy is doing the lazy slaps. I think maybe it was that like an ironic, like trying to be ironic, trying to be funny. Like, holy shit, we haven't seen Maskman before. Holy shit.
Nah, they sounded pumped. Them holy shit chants were fucking loud. Them shits were loud. They were eating that shit up.
They did.
Which means we are getting them again next week.
Oh, God. No.
Because they are over. Yeah.
Mr. Seth Maskman looked like the putties from Power Rangers. It should be like that, where they come attacking the Vision and Logan Paul's like kicking them, and they just and they vanish.
And then they fucking like take one kick and they fucking do the fucking complete body flips and shit.
They do the rock stunner style. Mr. Towns, I have not signed up for my AEW. I plan on. This sounds like a great service. You can get all the pay-per-views and ROH shows and ROH pay-per-views for $20 a month. Sign me up. I'm here for it. I'm gonna look more into it and might get it even for this weekend. But I already made plans to order it on Triller with my friend that's gonna split it with me. We got King Greg also mentioning why they Seth out there with the putties from Power Rangers. We got King Davion who says Punk was talking crazy. We got Jimmy Uso greater than one trick pony, says Power Driver finisher. He said Power Driver says they paid for this mediocrity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they paid for it. So I'm like, you ain't gonna tell me how to act when I paid my money for it. Like, fuck that. I'm having a good time.
You know what's crazy is that I think there's like a disconnect also with the internet, online wrestling fans as well. Because I saw we got King Davion who says that segment is up there for me as for one of the worst segments in Raw history. And I think you're closer. I don't know if I'll go that far because I've seen a bunch of bad Raw segments throughout my lifetime. I would have to compare and contrast. But I actually seen some people, the disconnect of people calling the final segment one of the worst segments. And I'm just like, did we watch the same thing?
Thank God I don't follow so much internet platforms like you guys do. Because it is absolute poison to the mind and it will fuck your head up. Like, to think what happened at the end of the show last night was one of the worst in history. That's not even like something to like entertain with like actual debate like that.
I do like seeing those posts and then reading the quote tweets, and all the quote tweets were mostly people that are like, you are bugging the fuck out. So I'm glad that I have that balance.
Like,
that I can see a ridiculous
it's just the dying thirst of attention that people do when they get their little grubby little fucking virgin fingers on their fucking keyboards on their phones, and they want to fucking make some comment just to get some attention because they don't get attention from home from their brothers or siblings, and their girl just cheated on them and just got caught just blowing somebody else off, and now he needs attention, and he wants to now get on the internet and start making some outlandish comments just so he can get people to talk to him because nobody else would. Bravo to you, sir.
Yeah, that's usually what it is. It seems like. But we got to get into things. We got to get into the nitty gritty of everything. Before we do that, though, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about, because you weren't on the flagship podcast on Saturday. That's where we talked about it mostly. We reacted to it when the news came out on Thursday on AE Ramble, me and Jimmy getting the first reaction that's up on our shorts right now. But I'll ask you, what did you think about the news of Road Dogg departing from WWE 6 weeks before WrestleMania 42?
Good for him. Good for him. And not as in good for him as in he did a bad job, but good for him because he clearly was unhappy.
And he also did a bad job.
I mean, yeah, for our viewing pleasures, I'm happy that he's no longer with us. But for a personal level for him, good for him because now he can probably like enjoy his life and do as he pleases instead of feeling like he's like the 9th most important person in a room of 10 people. And yeah, and you know, rightfully so that he was the 9th most important person of the room of 10 people because his ideas and his booking and his work sucked. So are we going to miss him on a television platform when we're watching Mondays and Fridays? Absolutely fucking not. But, you know, go live your life, bro. Like there's more days behind you than there are ahead of you. And you don't want to get ran into the ground for not only bad work, but for terrible fucking internet comments about you every single week because clearly there was a ton of those. And now you could just enjoy your life with your family and not have to, you could just live in the shadows and not worry about us dogging you out anymore because doggity dog, everybody was going raw dog on him with his work because his work sucked. His work was actually trash. Like grade A trash.
I want to get your perspective because I know you know your shoot job. Not to pull back the curtain too much, but your shoot job. You're a manager. You're a manager at your job. How does it feel to be on that opposite end? Because I've experienced being, you know, on the employee side of a performance review because the news was that Road Dogg got his performance review, and obviously the performance review wasn't the greatest because he saw the writing on the Raw and he said, you know what? I'm just going to go. I'm going to go before y'all let me go. I'm going to go myself. I'm going to make it my decision. How does it feel to be on that opposite end, the Triple H end of giving someone a bad performance review? Or have you been able to do had that situation where you had an employee that you had to give them a bad performance review?
Well, I've had tons of them. And each conversation is very different. There's some that knows they got it coming. And there's some that just absolutely has no idea how or why they're being evaluated the way they're being evaluated. And they think that they're head and shoulders amazing and top tier, like my best of the best. And typically a lot of those conversations are more trying to either explain it to you without getting angry about it. Because usually the response of the employee usually can set you off. It can set you off because at the end of it, it's like, yo, we've been talking about this shit for a year, or we've been talking about this shit for 6 months, and you still have the same habits. Like you're about to get written up, you're about to get penalized, you're about to have consequences for your work. But it's not processing. And when it's not processing, you kind of start to question like your own words. Like, am I saying shit clear enough that you can comprehend what I'm saying? Or am I just not speaking with enough common sense to have you understand. So do I need another person to come in and give you this explanation? Do I need to have multiple people come in and give you this explanation? But then if I do that, then it's going to immediately feel like now we're ganging up on you. And you're going to have this complex of victim. So it goes from them fighting their mishaps and their lack of productivity to becoming a victim and trying to now get you in trouble for you holding them accountable. So it's a very hairy situation when it comes to those chats, because if you don't have your ducks in order and you don't have your shit documented and you don't have a history and a paper trail, it's my word versus yours.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at having history. So I have history of occurrences. I have history of bad performance issues and things like that. And then I could bring those up. If I can't bring those up and I'm just telling you you're not doing good and you're failing at your job, how? They're gonna, if you don't got that trail, how am I failing?
WWE had they was like Road Dogg said, "How am I failing?" They just been like, "You see
Some
this part of
said,
WWE Unreal? You see this part of WWE Unreal?"
Some nigga pulled out a book and said, "Hey, which page do I go to? Which page do I go to?"
Or they just show him WWE Unreal. They was like, "This is when you look like an idiot. Like you kept suggesting Chelsea Green, and you didn't think about the next move after that. We need someone with foresight, with ability to look forward, and you're not him."
And they not only got paper trail, they got visual evidence. So I mean, and the only reason why he was employed with WWE so long, to be honest with you, and obviously I think everybody knows this, is because how good friends he is with Triple H.
Yeah, he got fired in like January of 2022 and then got hired back when Triple H became in charge.
Because if he was a creative writer for AEW back in like 2018, 19, or whenever they came up, that man would not have lasted a year. No. So the fact that he lasted 4 is a fucking modern day miracle.
Hey, here we are.
So I listen, and I literally had somebody that actually resigned from my job before I was about to fire them. This literally just happened like a month ago. So they knew it was coming. They knew the axe was coming.
You had your own Road Dogg.
Oh yeah. But no. See the difference between Road Dogg and the person I was about to get rid of is that my person was actually very talented. This person just decided not to show up for work, or just decided to call out like at any moment's notice, or maybe call out 30 minutes before their shift starts, and at a record pace. So, and then all of a sudden they start to use, "Oh, my mental health is not in the best place. I need a mental leave because of all the stress." Bitch, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Bitch, get the fuck out of here with that shit. You gonna wait until you fucking 20-something call-outs deep into your fucking turmoil to then tell me, "Oh, my mental isn't right."
I could have told you that after 10 call-outs.
Anything less than 20. Like all of a sudden, yeah, bitch, you mentally exhausted and stressed now because you know the pile of fuck-ups you created.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So, yeah, people are fucking... So, the fact that this culture and the society that we live in is so goddamn soft and so fucking paper thin and literally looks for trigger words like little pussies and just finds any little way to use your words against you, or use your words, or you didn't say this eloquently, or you didn't say this properly. Bitch, we are in the position because you put yourself here. But now, because now I have to hold you accountable, oh, now you're looking for trigger words that I may use against me to save your ass. Bitch, fuck you. The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah, happened. Oh, check that out. Text says, I work for the LIRR and we don't report to work within the hour without a notification is deemed as an AWOL. Yeah. That's usually how it used to work when I was working the 9 to 5 grind. Like, yeah, you're considered AWOL, man. We got Aubrey, who has a difference of opinion from me, at least, for last night's show. He says this was worst. This was worst Raw episode of Raw. This performers are lifeless. The product is soulless. I miss the days wrestlers actually care how they look on TV. Everybody looks like a bum, and I hate this. I respect you. Shit. I mean, I agree with one of those. The product has felt very soulless. I thought last night was a better effort from Monday Night Raw. I literally messaged Sad Iniangi and Alex McCarthy this morning. I was like, we actually got back-to-back decent. I won't say good. Good, it feels like too strong. Great feels like an overestimation or overrating it. Decent. We got 2 back-to-back decent episodes of Monday Night Raw, and I don't remember the last time I was able to say that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count because so essentially when your a performer meets expectations is the bare minimum. So you when you get graded, I'm pretty sure most of the chat in here has jobs. So when you get evaluated, there's exceeds expectations, which almost no one ever gets, because you're the creme de la creme. You're the number one. You're the ace. You have done nothing wrong. You are A1 every single day. No one is that, honestly.
Yeah.
Number 2 is you are amongst the best. Number 3, you're meeting your criteria, which is good. You're doing a good job. You're doing your part. 4 is inconsistent and doesn't meet all expectations. That's where we are with Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
They're number 4.
Yeah.
They're 4. And 5 is just does not meet. 5 is I'm done. 5 is I'm done with you. That's it. When you hit 5 and you're done, you're not coming back. You're done. It's over.
Yeah.
The majority of the viewing audience is sitting at 4.
Yeah. We're way past the days of like 2023, 2024, where it felt like the vast majority of WWE fans were satisfied and meeting expectations or even above expectations, how good things were going. We are at the stage where it's just very inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get week after week or show after show from WWE.
Yeah. And if that's acceptable to you, so be it. But I ain't going to be amongst those people that watches literally 6 straight weeks of shit and then be like, oh yeah, no, they're doing fine. No, they're not.
No.
They're not.
But I'm also gonna be, balance my opinion, and I'm gonna say last night was better than the month of February. Like the month of
oh yeah, absolutely. March has been absolutely better than February by a million miles.
Yes.
And that didn't need to take a lot. That just needed you to do the job.
Exactly. So
the difference between a 3 and a 4 is palpable.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get into the show, break it all down as we usually
And I think I just want to read something. I don't know if this was just towards whatever conversation. I see something that says he angry. No, not angry at all. I just have the freedom to be able to express here on True Heel Heat because this is my home, away from home, and I'm not at work and I'm not on the clock, which means I can't say the things that I would say when I'm at work.
Exactly.
So I can say that all here. So
people need to realize that having a platform and being on YouTube is like personal therapy.
And people don't understand that. And that's not fine. But if that what I just said prior is me being angry, boy, you haven't heard me angry. No. Boy, you haven't heard me angry. No. That was just me spitting facts earlier. You haven't heard me.
You gotta get a gauge. You gotta get a gauge. I think like back when we were doing shows live together, that's probably the closest you get to angry. JJ.
Oh yeah. And the closest thing I've gotten to angry on RRR Review is watching the fucking 97-month feud between Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez.
Yes. Just watch a couple of weeks ago when he was punching his camera.
Yeah. That's me. That's a glimpse of me being angry.
Yeah, and Yulo, I think that's how you say it. Yulo. I see you're like a new name in the chat, so welcome. You get a gauge of where of JJ's angry state. Just go back like maybe a month from now. Check out some of our reviews in January where we were at. Like, no, December. Yeah, December is when you punched out. And if anybody knows
me. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see if this is going to work. See, I am a representative of those bums. You haven't seen me angry until you've seen me deal with that shit. Until you see me deal with that nonsense and the Jake Locker days and those days. Of complete mediocrity and bullshit. So yeah, this is as calm. This is calm. This is me just trying to give you quality TV.
Yeah, and Tech bring it up. He says that was an instant classic. JJ almost broke his camera. LOL, I still watch it sometimes. It's up on our shorts. So if you don't want to go back to the actual show, just skim through our shorts. It's up there. All right. Yes, let's go into Monday Night Raw.
My camera is still fine, apparently, because this is the same camera I'm on. I do have a little bit of Gorilla Glass like over the lens just for protection purposes now.
Last night's Monday Night Raw took place from Seattle, Washington. What did you think about the crowd last night in Seattle?
They were great. Seattle was great.
Good crowd.
Seattle was one of the best American crowds that I've heard in a long time. Like they were with the shits like all night. They were with the shits all night, even if they got in like mediocrity. And there was a part of the show that I absolutely loved. And I haven't said that about Raw in a long time. And it has nothing to do with the CM Punk segment. It has nothing to do with any of the matches that took place. But there's something that SP is going to get to that I fucking loved on this show.
There we go. Teaser. That's what we call a cliffhanger. But we got we start off the show. We see Penta is walking. Asuka and Kairi Sane are walking with Asuka with Io Sky looking on from the hallway. You get Obafemi, Rusev, CM Punk all arriving at the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. There was a long video recap for what went down last week with Seth Rollins attacking Paul Heyman from behind. And then we kick off with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce in the middle of the ring to start the show. Pearce says that he had some unfortunate business to attend to, and he called out Seth freaking Rollins. He figured Rollins was in the building because he knew the vision was And then we get at least a half dozen masked man appeared at ringside. The crowd chanted "Holy shit" for some reason. I don't understand why.
Very loudly.
Very loudly. They scrambled around the ring to cause confusion, as Michael Cole stated, playing some sort of shell game that was utterly pointless before they all left the ring to leave one man standing, Seth Rollins, who removed his mask. And Rollins works there, so I'm not really sure why he went through all that trouble. And even Adam Pearce, when a character on the show is questioning the reason for all that you're doing, you know there's a problem. Because Adam Pearce said that was quite unnecessary, but okay. He then questioned Rollins' recent attacks on the Vision, wondering what would happen once Rollins' plan didn't work. Pierce reiterated that Rollins was not cleared, and if the Vision got their hands on him, it would be the end of Seth Rollins. I was like, you shouldn't have said that, because the Vision is just these two guys. So if Seth is fearful that these two guys, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, getting their hands on him would be the end of Seth Rollins, does not say much about Seth Rollins to me. Maybe to y'all, to each his own. I don't know. Logan and Austin Theory, they come out, they interrupt. They wanted to be the ones responsible for Rollins' end. They hit the apron, and all of the angry masked men start doing their shell game. Seth Rollins puts back on his mask. They start causing confusion and synchronized dancing all around as Seth is guarded by the masked man. He uses the distraction game to allow himself to disappear, to escape. So the very dangerous Logan Paul and Austin Theory, he did this all to avoid Austin Theory and Logan Paul. I'm just going to repeat that so people understand how disgusted I am that Seth Rollins, top star, former 7-time and the 8-time world champion, mastermind. He's a mastermind. Oh, he's playing mind games. That's what he's doing with them. This was utterly pointless, utterly unnecessary, low rent. This was low rent indie crap. I had a person who was trying to defend it who said this is not Road to WrestleMania worthy. This isn't Road to Crown Jewel worthy. This isn't WWE worthy. This is more like AEW in December 19. This reminded me of the Dark Order coming out and doing the fake punches to Dustin Rhodes, or Retribution during the pandemic. This is so beneath Seth Rollins that it's honestly sad that he was the centerpiece of all of this. So the Vision are upset because Seth left. He escaped through the shell game, the synchronized dancing that the masked man did. Then LA Knight comes out to a big pop. He marches down to attack Theory and Paul. He's overwhelmed by the numbers game until the Usos ran out to help him out and cleared the ring with double super kicks. It took 3 baby faces to get rid of Logan Paul, Austin Theory of the Vision. The Usos cleared the ring. Knight and the Usos were in the ring, and Jay wanted to run it back, so they hit his music again, and he started eating. After this, we did get an update from Michael Cole, who announced that there was no timetable for our Paul Heyman's return, that he's got an injured septum, and he had concussion protocol and all this stuff after Seth Rollins' attack last week, and he's out indefinitely. We then get Jackie Redmond, who interviews the Usos backstage, caught up to them, who seemed like they were about to leave the arena. They said that they had receipts for all of the Vision and that they didn't care about Seth Rollins or LA Knight. Jay was red hot But Jimmy was even keeled here. As Redmond asked about CM Punk's comments to Roman Reigns, Jay says that he didn't want to comment, and he was ready to go. But Jimmy says they did have something to say to CM Punk, and they would say it to him later on in the show. They made their way back in from the direction that they were leaving from, so this was a teaser for later on in the show. The shit sucked. I said it last week. I had issues with. I think I was like the only person who seemingly had issues with Seth Rollins' attack last week when he attacked Paul Heyman from behind, a near 60-year-old man, and attacked him with a steel chair. At that, I made it more because of I didn't really think Heyman did anything wrong to him outside of a little bit of trash talk, but it also makes it look even worse this week when he has synchronized dancers, over a dozen synchronized dancers play a show game to hide him from Austin Theory and Logan Paul. This is how we're doing a Seth Rollins build to WrestleMania. Seth Rollins, one of the biggest stars in this company, an all-time great. That's what we're doing. I said a couple of weeks ago that Heyman might be washed on the mic. He might also be washed in creative if he came up with this. Top Guy JJ, what did you think?
This is why I've turned this show off. This is why I turned it off. I'm what? Like, Seth Rollins, that man only needs one friend to handle these two motherfuckers. He needs one friend. One. And he got like 35 motherfuckers in mask. One of them looked like fucking Keith Lee.
It's like, I know that's not Seth.
Why don't they all just collectively fuck them up? And just be done with this bullshit. But they are trying so hard to make Logan Paul a main character that it is actually brutal to watch.
Yeah.
Like, they are trying hard to make him really strong. And it ain't hitting. It's actually making it worse. It's just becoming dumber and dumber. Like, this with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed would make a whole lot more sense.
Yes.
Opposed to the two B players in this group. You got the B players in this group coming out there talking about, I got a bullet with your name on it. Nigga, you have fucking emptied so many clips and have hit no one for your entire WWE run. And the one bullet that was given to you that was literally a fucking mannequin standing still in the form of you beating John Cena at WrestleMania has done absolute nothing for you. So you've emptied like 6 clips. You've hit one mannequin. And you think we care about your bullets? No, dog. Just hold. You might as well just hold a water gun at this point. Like, no one cares. No one. But if you're there live and you want to have a good time and blah, and then you watch literally 3 minutes later, and then you watch their asses get handed to them by LA Knight and the Usos, like in a matter of seconds. Like, it literally took seconds. And Seth Rollins is creating a whole fucking charade and a parade to run and hide and play. These cats aren't even worth playing. Bro, this would come out so much better if this was all to avoid Brock Lesnar,
Yeah.
like one Brock Lesnar is something that I would be okay. All right, yeah. I would not want to have him get his hands on me either. I could believe that a whole lot more than Austin Theory and a YouTuber.
YouTuber and Austin Theory.
That's like, yo, it's like, yo, Seth, you're about to really go running for your life because Top Guy and SP3 is coming after you. It's not even comical. It is just poorly done with the wrong people. And when you do shit with wrong people, it just looks even worse. And that's what we got for a whole 15 minutes to start the show.
Commentary did mention something interesting where they talked about Brock Lesnar is returning next week, and they questioned
that's a lot of people's opinion. That's not.
Yeah. This is not a hot take. It's everybody's opinion. Logan Paul, especially in 2026, he's definitely overrated for how WWE is booking him right now.
Yeah, it's WWE overrating him.
Yeah. No fan. I don't. Well, there's some fans that do overrate Logan Paul as well, but WWE is beating them out the water with this. But I will say, it was interesting. Commentary mentioned, what would Brock Lesnar think about what Seth Rollins did to Paul Heyman? Now, if Braun Breaker is not going to be back for WrestleMania, do you think WWE goes in the direction of Seth versus Brock again at WrestleMania this year?
Nothing is dotting those lines for that.
He attacked Paul Heyman, his advocate.
He attacked Paul Heyman, but then if they do that, then the Vision might as well just be kaput.
Well, the Vision is probably feuding with the Usos.
You might as well just throw the whole Vision away, because this is what this whole angle is about. Is the Vision betraying Seth Rollins? Brock Lesnar is not a part of
the two members that did betray him are not here anymore. So.
And Paul Heyman doesn't owe like Brock Lesnar any favors or any dumb storyline bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And they do this one-off and sick Brock Lesnar on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is going to get hurt again. Brock Lesnar don't care about people's injuries. And this man just is recovered from a shoulder injury. So he's going to get through is he's going to get thrown on his fucking back and shoulders the entire fucking match.
He's like, you're going to be right back on the shelf after that.
Yeah, that's you want career suicide? Make the match happen.
I'm just saying, it probably is one of the matches that they're thinking about. If Braun's not going to be ready, they don't know who they want to give Brock Lesnar. You have one of the guys that they have been talking about. It seems like he could be like positioned to step up to the challenge. LA Knight seems like so far away from facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And then one of the most notable omissions from last night's show, where the hell was Gunther?
Nigga said, you got me fighting Dragon. You got me fucking with Dragon Lee again. Nah, I ain't coming tonight. I ain't coming tonight. Like, the fuck? Like, how many times you gonna pair me up with this man? They paired this man up every single week ever since AJ Styles retired.
Yep.
It's been Dragon Lee.
He's like, I just beat him.
That's your four. That's your four of these niggas not even fucking meeting expectations and trying.
Damn. Sad. All right, let's get into the action because it did get better on this show. After
this was arguably the worst thing of the entire show.
I won't say arguably.
There's gonna be like 3 people in the chat that actually like this shit.
You're probably right. Let us know in the chat if you're one of the people that enjoyed that opening segment and were riveted by the synchronized dancing shell game that Seth Rollins' Masked Man did to hide him and escape, and you think that it fit his character and it made all the sense to you. Please let us know in the chat.
And it's all right. I promise we won't make fun of you.
No, I promise we won't make fun of you. I just want to know from y'all. Let me know why you liked it. If you can let me know why you liked it instead of like, because what it seems like most people do is criticize the people that didn't like it, and that validates their opinion. No, let me know if you liked it and let me know why you liked it.
And it doesn't have to be a thought out like essay. It could literally be, I liked it because I thought it was different. I thought it was something unique to the show. Like if that's you, that's okay.
I guess this can qualify as enjoying it. He said he fucking laughed at it. Does it count as enjoying it?
You weren't fully disgusted by it, so yeah, you probably did enjoy it more than you actually imagined. So Valab, I think you kind of like guiltily enjoyed it.
Yeah, that qualifies.
That's fine.
I'll take that. And that I understand. That see, we found something. I can understand if you can qualify that as enjoying it because you got a good laugh at it. So
yeah, if you laugh at it, that means you were entertained.
We got Yula who says last week's was better. Talking
what
about
does that mean?
I think he's talking about the Masked Man from last week. Yeah, because they just ran distraction for Seth to get the drop on Heyman. Right. But yeah. I feel like this whole segment kind of counteracted that and made that worse in retrospect because Seth was very brave to attack Paul Heyman from behind, but as soon as Logan Paul and Austin Theory showed up, he had to do a synchronized dance with his Masked Man to get the hell up out of there and avoid any contact with them. And then the rest of our baby faces in this segment, they need a 3-on-2 against those two guys.
I'm telling you, these two must be on some type of juice that we are unaware of. like they got some PEDs in their system that's scaring the bejesus out of people because they need to gang up on these cats. They need to play musical fucking Muppets or putties with this guy, with these two dudes. Like something is, it's like, they're in that room like, we're going to make these two people really, really strong.
It's like we're cooking up something good here. We're gonna have all these Masked Man. They're gonna come out and they're gonna be around Seth, and it's gonna be so great. The crowd's gonna be like, holy shit, it's so many Masked Man. And then Seth's gonna show up. He's gonna take his mask off and he's gonna listen to Adam Pearce, and then Logan Paul and Austin Theory are gonna come out and threaten him, and then he's gonna have the Masked Man basically create a wall. They're going to create a wall around him because we tell these fantastical stories, and he's going to create a wall. Seth's going to put the mask back on, and it's going to be like the Trojan horse. These Masked Men are just doing all these synchronized dancing and playing a shell game, and Seth escapes through the synchronized dancing. It's gonna be so great. These people are gonna be talking about it for years and years and years to come, because this is what we do.
This nigga is obsessed with the fantastical stories bit.
That's one of my... I don't understand why more people don't bring that up. That is one of the greatest lines he's ever said when he's talking about his storytelling. When he said, we're creating these fantastical storytelling. I was like, what are you talking about? You're doing wrestling.
Nigga, is that even a word? I bet you that shit is not even in the dictionary, my nigga. Like... fantastical. What this nigga just put fantastic and magical and said, I'm creating my own word.
That is, I'm sorry, not enough people talk about it. I think it was like a convention or something, and he's talking about that. I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Like, I've never heard the word fantastical in my life until we started doing these motherfucking reviews.
Fantastical storytelling, man.
Like, nigga, how do we even spell, like, it is a real word? It's a real
Fantastic,
word?
and you just put the AL at the back of fantastic. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I know the content of the fucking word. It's like, say it in a sentence. These niggas is now saying it in a sentence. Like, I get the drift. But don't tell me that y'all niggas have been hearing fantastical for all these years prior to Triple H's fucking dialogue.
It wasn't until Triple H.
Y'all niggas have not been using the word fantastical. Fuck out of here with that shit. I know I'm not the only nigga that fucking said, yo, since when niggas is using the word fantastical? Like, don't fucking cap on me and telling me, like, y'all heard this shit plenty of times, because all y'all niggas is lying.
It was in Willy Wonka. Oh my god, that's why he's using it. He's using Willy Wonka verbiage.
Yo,
oh,
yo,
man, this
no,
is awesome.
Yo, nah, I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not buying it.
JJ shoots on fantastical. That's the short. That's the short right there. All right. Let's talk about the first matchup of the show. WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders Gauntlet. We start off with Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky, and I was like, well, I know this is going to cook because these two ladies don't know how to have a bad match against each other. They always have such great chemistry in the ring with one another. The winner gets a shot at AJ Lee next week on Monday Night Raw. Valkyria dropped Sky off the top rope to take control ahead of the commercial break. Sky hits a flapjack and then continue with some strikes. She hits a butterfly backbreaker, a corner meteora. You get Valkyria, who hits a tornado DDT followed by a high angle fisherman suplex and only gets a 2 count. You get Io with a big dive to the outside. You get Lyra hitting a spinning heel kick. She tries to work over the legs during the commercial break, but eventually Io makes a comeback. She counters the Nightwing and hits a double foot stomp, a buzzsaw kick to the head, and then finishes her off with the over the moonsault for the 1-2-3. They gave them plenty of time to open up the gauntlet with a solid effort from both ladies. This one went about 9.5 minutes to start off the gauntlet. So you had a little bit worn down Io Sky, as the next competitor out was top guy JJ's favorite, Raquel Rodriguez. Rodriguez had control. Aruga, dum, dum, dum. And she hits a shoulder block with Io taking some crazy bumps against her. They take one where she hits her with like the big boot as Io's in midair, and Io does like a full like whoa, like she's getting ripped out of an airplane bump. That was really cool. When we return from commercial break, we get Io with a Hurricane Rana off the top. She follows up with the missile drop kick. Io got the crowd hyped up as she hits the meteor in the corner. She goes for the over the moonsault, but then Liv Morgan comes out to cause a distraction. Raquel takes advantage of that and knocks Io off the top rope. But then we hear the music of Stephanie Vicaire. Stephanie Vicaire comes down through the entranceway and starts brawling with Liv Morgan, taking her all the way to the back. Sky, though, takes advantage of the distraction by Raquel, and she flies off the top rope. Raquel tries to catch her, but we get Io, who captures her with a small package and gets the flash pin 1-2-3 to eliminate Raquel. Raquel is so pissed off after the matchup that she boots down Sky. She then lawn darts her outside the ring into the ring post, puts her back in or puts her back in with the Tejada bomb on the hardest part of the ring on the apron before pushing her back into the ring. This leads to Ivy Now coming out, and she immediately comes in to pin Io 1, 2, 3, and the crowd was deflated by that. The crowd was very much into Io, hyping them up. So the next matchup suffered because of the quick elimination of Io here. Bayley would be out next to go against Ivy Now, and I don't understand why Ivy Now and Bayley got the same amount of time as Io and Lyra, because it wasn't as good as Io and Lyra. Now got a couple of good spots. She hits a delayed vertical suplex for 2. Now then hits a superplex and then a spinning Uranagi, but Bayley fell out of the ring. Now went after her, and Bayley took advantage of this. She drove her into the ring steps. She then hits a elbow drop off the ring steps as Niall was on the ring apron. She then puts her back into the ring, hits the Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3. Bayley picks up the victory here and moves on to the final match of the Gauntlet, where she faces a familiar foe, Asuka. Asuka comes down with Kairi Sane, and as soon as she gets towards the ring, Bayley hits a great spot where she hits her with a tope suicida as Sane is just looking at the camera, doesn't even realize she's posing for the camera, doesn't realize that her friend just got wiped out. Great spot, especially on the slow-mo that they showed. Get back into the ring. Asuka gets out. Then Sane provides the distraction for Asuka to kick Bayley in the head and take control. Asuka had control through the commercial break before Bayley makes her comeback. She hits a sunset flip powerbomb into the turnbuckle and gets a 2. We get Asuka, who applies an ankle lock, but as Bayley got close to the rope, Asuka dropped down into a cradle for 2. Then we get Bayley applied an ankle lock or knee bar of her own before Asuka rolled all the way to the ropes for the rope break. Asuka then hit an elevated knee, but Bayley fought back with a running knee strike of her own and got a 2 count. Asuka hits a series of strikes, which led to a 2 count. They traded counters until Bayley hit the Bayley to belly, but only gets a near fall this time. Asuka distracted the referee as Kairi was about to attack Bayley, but out of nowhere, Lyra Valkyria returns and she flies in to drop kick Sane right into the ring apron. We get Bayley, who tries for a diving elbow when she gets back into the ring, but Asuka counters into the Asuka lock. Bayley counters that into a near fall. Asuka gets a shoulder up, but then Bayley takes advantage. She hits the Rose Plant. 1, 2, 3. Bayley wins our number 1 Contenders Gauntlet and moves on to next week, where she faces her real life friend, the person who wore her shirt in her final match in WWE over a decade ago. She goes one-on-one with AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Bayley poses with Lyra as Asuka confronted Sane outside of the ring. Good, really good matchup at times. I thought that the Io Lyra portion of the matchup was really good. Io and Raquel was actually fun as the David versus Goliath matchup of the Gauntlet portion. Ivy Now coming in and eliminating Io that quick after the Raquel attack kind of deflated the crowd a bit. It took them a bunch of time until it was Bayley and Asuka to really get them back into the matchup. But overall, this was a great showcase for the women's division. After last week, they weren't given a matchup on Monday Night Raw. And it's like, God damn, could we stop wasting time on 15-minute opening segments with the vision and get more of this women's division? Because it reminded me that the Raw women's division is the best women's division in probably American television today. Like, give them more shine because they always deliver. What did you think?
And mind you, this is all without Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
Yeah, this was a good match. This was quite, and I actually kind of enjoyed the Ivy Now time a little bit more than I thought I would have. She wasn't bad in this match. Still have no idea why she was in the match, but she wasn't bad in the match.
No.
Yeah, this match was solid, man. Like I definitely liked the little bits, the little cheap little run-ins here to get, I think this was the same match Stephanie ran in and attacked Liv to get Raquel eliminated. Yeah, so they kind of just like showcase like the whole women's division in this one match, which I was like, damn, like there's so many of them. Like you might as well give them a few more moments in the show because you wasted like 25 minutes of the fucking program with what we had. But yeah, this match was good, man, and good for Bayley. More than likely is going to be setting her up to get this close again. Because this is the writing on the wall for Becky's return next week to ruin this match for both of them. And Becky is going to somehow insert herself into this women's picture. And maybe they don't cook the Becky and AJ shit again. If they're somehow able to mix Bayley into this mix and her not get jobbed out of the fucking spot of WrestleMania again, like I'd be kind of happy with that. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a triple threat match with the three of them. Yeah. And I think it would come off better than what we got with this Becky complaining fest with Jessica Carr, and like this character and their chemistry is it's just so much overwork with them. Like it kind of like takes away from the actual talents that they all have. But if the three of them get to shine at WrestleMania, I think it would be a really, really good match. But we got to wait and see what they do or don't do, because they're kings of disappointing us and just making shit happen. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, we might get a Danhausen and Bayley interaction, and Danhausen curses Bayley and she's out of Mania again.
Probably. That's probably what they would do. They would do some stuff like that. That's kind of what they always do. We got Eula. It says the Raw Women's Division unmatched, incredibly talented. We got a difference of opinion from War Hero, who says NXT has the best women's division. I disagree. I think NXT has a good women's division, but best, that would mean that they have at least, let's say, 3 of the top 5 women in the overall WWE women's division. And I don't think they have 1 of the top 5 women of the top women in the women's division. They have a lot of great talent that's growing, that could be up there in one day. But I think JC Jane is very good, but she lacks kind of like the in-ring ability of someone like a Rhea Ripley, an Io Sky. She's not as big of a star as a Becky Lynch or an AJ Lee. She's not as experienced and doesn't have the accolades and doesn't have the in-ring kind of like veteranness to guide a matchup like Bayley does. Like, you on Raw, you have Io Sky, who's the single best women's wrestler in WWE today. You got Lyra Valkyria, who's probably the most underrated and most reliable in-ring competitor in WWE overall, regardless of gender. You got Bayley, who's one of the most decorated, so good in the ring, has a great character, has that experience, been on different arcs and had so many great moments. You got Becky Lynch, who's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. It's not just me saying it. Sports Illustrated says it. Oh, yeah, that's also me. And Bleacher Report says it, and multiple other people say it. AJ Lee is a bona fide legend, regardless of our criticism of her. She is a part of the Raw women's division. You got to counter in that. Asuka, one of the greatest women's wrestlers, period, as well. Like, what are we talking about here? Soul is great. Blake Monroe is great. But they ain't on the level of the 6 people I just said.
And you mentioned all of those women without mentioning the featured Women's World Championship match.
Yeah, Stephanie Vicaire.
Morgan and Stephanie Vicaire.
Yeah. I just named 6 people, and it's not the 2 women that are going to be in one of the biggest matches at WrestleMania. Or Rhea Ripley, who is still technically a part of the Raw Women's division.
And let's not have memory loss just because she's injured. Roxanne Perez is on this division.
Roxanne Perez as well. Yeah. So like that, Raw is undoubtedly the best women's division. Like, we could have the debate and we could go back and forth, but you just named JC, Soul, who are up and coming. They ain't at their peak yet. They ain't in their prime yet. They're still being built up to get to that level. Blake Monroe, she is great. Mariah May was better though. So, because WWE tends to do this where they get a finished product like a Mariah May and they try to strip back and try to make her into a WWE version of herself, which is lesser than the version of her at her peak with no chains allowed. Like, yeah. Teach us. We got a couple of super chats and other messages in the chat here. We got Alan. Thank you so much for being a member for 29 months. Thank you so much, Alan. He says, another difference of opinion. He says, Raw was ass last night. Thumbs down. But at least we are getting the bloodline back together. Thank you, Punk, for you are losing at Mania.
Yeah.
I see where your loyalty's at.
This storyline is not boding well for Punk at all.
Or it's not bowling well for Roman. We'll talk about that when we get to the segment. We got a super chat donation from our main man, Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, okay, SP3, time to use that great memory of yours. Do you remember Bayley ever getting a pinfall victory in singles competition against Asuka? Because I damn sure missed it if it happened. SummerSlam 2020 is the last time that I remember it. It was Asuka versus Bayley and Asuka versus Sasha Banks in the same night. She beat Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship, and then she challenged for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and she lost to Bayley. That's the last time I remember it. I don't know if there's been times between there.
That this psycho just remembered that from 5.5 years ago off of the question. He deserves his own damn super chat.
Thank you.
Because
try my best.
What the fuck was that?
Try my best.
Like
folks.
that shit took me you explaining it to remember it. If that question was posed to me, I'll be on Google.
Hey, you asked me a question about like American history. I'm not going to remember it. You asked me about WWE history or wrestling history. I might remember it. I was never a good history student until I started doing wrestling content. But we get a video package for Punk's encounter
during the pandemic era.
Yeah.
You're a fucking nut. Like, what the fuck? This was in the Thunderdome. You're an absolute psycho.
He was like, most of us trying to forget that stuff. What are you doing?
This nigga remember that shit way too vividly for me, bro.
It just hit me. It was like, oh, it's like the light bulb. But we see Punk and Roman's encounter from last week, hyping up CM Punk's going to appear later in the show. Then we get Natty during the ad break. She cuts a promo on the stage on Maxine Dupree, saying that she was convinced for years that she was Natalya, but she was Natty when she left Canada. She was Natty when she came out of the dungeon. She was Natty when she came up in this business, and that Natalya was a lesser version of herself.
Oh,
and she says that the heart doesn't lie. And then she is attacked from behind by Maxine Dupree. Officials pulled Dupree away, so Natty popped up and decked her, and they fought until they cut to the regular programming. They did replay this, so just to make you remember that this feud is still going on.
Why?
I don't know.
This was what they did with the second bit of women's interaction on the show? At least it was on an ad break, and I didn't see it live. They just had to run the replay back, because what was she even talking about? Like, yo, hot air. No one cares, bro.
No one cares. Then we get Danhausen. he approaches the original El Grande Americano backstage. Danhausen was cheered as soon as he came on the screen. He tried to take Americano's mask to try it on, but Americano says, rule numero uno, never touch a luchador's mask. Americano wanted him to vamonos so he could focus on his upcoming Intercontinental Championship matchup, but Danhausen took offense to this. He didn't appreciate being chewed away, so he says, well, you know what that means? You are cursed. As the crowd said it in unison with him. This man is undeniably over already. It's crazy how quickly this has turned around. You get the original El Grande Americano says that he was unconcerned with being cursed. He then tried to tell him rule numero dos, but he had already vanished, and we saw Los Americanos following the original El Grande backstage, and we would see what that meant in a little bit here. It's insane how over Danhausen is already.
It's beautiful to see. But damn, bro, this nigga Chad Gable ain't even trying anymore.
Nah.
He ain't even trying no more. He's in full-blown English tone and thank you voice, and he ain't even trying, bruh. He want to get out of that match so bad.
Hopefully it ends next week, but we'll get into that.
He wants to get out of that match so bad.
Seems like it. Penta entered with his new Intercontinental title belt, and he cuts a promo. He thanked his family, his friends, the company, and the fans. He thanked anyone who believed in him. He also thanked himself because he believed he could achieve the Intercontinental Championship. He says that the title was not just for him, it was for everyone who did not give up. He represented all of them. He was their new Intercontinental Champion, and he's ready to make history. He cuts the rest of his promo in Spanish and then finally ends that he is Penta and he has zero mero. Really, probably the best promo that Penta's cut since his first night on Monday Night Raw when they interviewed him after his win over Chad Gable. And it was ironic that he was about to face Chad Gable, or so we thought. But what did you think about the promo from Penta here?
I fucking loved this. I loved every minute of it because this was a spotlight solely on Penta. And the fact that the crowd ate it up with him, he got to say what he wanted to say, and he kind of spoke as a struggling artist. And the fact that this struggling artist that has been doing this for 20 years is sitting in a WWE ring with all the pyro, with all the fans, with all the supporters, and he is holding an Intercontinental Championship while doing that. Like that was so awesome, just to, even if it doesn't last or turn into like a great story or whatever the case is for his title run or whatever, I love that moment for him because you could see like just how proud and how happy he is to be in the spot that he's in, with the company that he's in, where he's at with the fans, and how everybody loves him. Like he is literally somebody, like, he's impossible to not like. It's almost like you gotta cheer for Penta. Like Penta is always, he's in, even, because he's just consistent. He's so consistent. And he's done that across every company he's been to. Like, meeting the dude was fucking amazing. Like he is just such a good dude. And the fact that something is happening like this for a good dude after all of these years, this was the part of the show that I told that I fucking loved. Like, I loved this part. Like, this was so well deserved and so awesome to get that moment, that spotlight, that long speech that he was able to give before his championship match. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it was really well done. Really well done. Just gave him that platform, made it feel like a big deal, made it feel like a bigger deal than even last week did, him winning the Intercontinental Championship. So that was really well done. So, like I said, he was supposed to face the original El Grande Americano, aka Chad Gable, but he got the current El Grande Americano instead, Ludwig Kaiser. This started during the commercial break. They went to another break maybe minutes later. So we got the first 9 minutes or so included 5 minutes of commercials for you guys in the US. I got to see the whole matchup. Sorry. We get Americano, who basically gouges the eyes early on in the matchup as Penta is giving him the 10 punches in the corner. He then ties his mask into the ropes and starts stomping down on Penta. Penta was fighting back after the commercial break and hits a crazy flip dive and then follows up with the flying crossbody for 2. Americano responded with a spine buster for a 2 count of his own. He hits a super kick, but Americano countered a destroyer attempt into a Finley roll for 2. Then we get Americano, who came off the middle rope, but Penta catches him with a code breaker, and then he followed up with the Canadian destroyer and the Mexican destroyer, for the 1-2-3 to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Pretty good matchup here. I thought they worked well together. Probably one of their better than their matchup a couple of weeks ago when Penta became the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So I enjoyed this one. It was a competitive matchup. Penta looking good in the win here. I'm still confused on what Penta's going to do at WrestleMania, but the promo and then him picking up the victory here does give me some sort of kind of like confidence that they do have something in mind for him going into WrestleMania. So hopefully we get more of a picture into that in the weeks to come, but this was good for tonight. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a solid match. I would have much rather the original.
Yeah, definitely would have been a better matchup.
Because I still remember how good that first encounter was. Like, it was so good. But you know, we had to make do with the 9-foot one. So, you know, he made it work. It was good. I'm just happy that they've kept him busy. Like, Penta's always, outside of course, his injury, Penta's always been active. He's always been involved. Like, Penta has never not been involved, like, week in, week out.
Yeah.
So Penta is always a part of the show. So regardless of, you know, where we want him to be or what we see for him in the future, he's always involved. And that almost sometimes is like, you can't really ask for more in 1 year. So he's always, and the fact that he's a champion now, he's on a good path. Like, he's one of the few people that, even though some people think that it may have taken longer than it should have, I do think that they're doing right by him. And of course, they're doing right by him because he's making them a shit ton of money through merch. But yeah, just keep him involved, keep him important, and don't have him lose no sucker ass matches to no sucker ass people, and just let people keep believing that he's somebody to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I hope they continue to make him like a fighting champion, that he defends the Intercontinental Championship often on Monday Night Raw and on pay-per-views as well. So good stuff here. Next up, we get one of your other favorite parts of the show. Usually, Stephanie Vaquer is here, and she cuts a pre-taped promo on Liv Morgan, which included subtitles as she went back and forth between English and Spanish. Vaquer says that she knew how good Morgan was and how hard she had trained since being signed at 20 years old. But she hated Morgan's stupid laugh and that she was too ignorant to use her God-given skills. Morgan hid behind a trashy man and sent her friends to do her dirty work. Meanwhile, you have someone like Stephanie, who Morgan claimed Vicaire came from mud huts, but she was proud of where she came from. She was forged in hell. Vicaire was forged from her experiences, and they took different roads to get there, but both had the skill to be there. The difference was that Liv became lazy. Morgan, she says that the sad part is she sees more in Morgan than Morgan sees in herself. Liv saw herself as a cheap blonde and always took the easiest way to win championships. She would need to bring every trick in the book to WrestleMania because Vicaire would bring blood, sweat, and her experience, and Vicaire would continue to make history as the women's world champion. This was good. This was much better than the last few weeks as far as the build to Liv and Vicaire. This gave it more of a story of their two different journeys kind of colliding. How they've had two different roads to get here, while Liv has been in the Performance Center and kind of built in the WWE, while Vicaire came from Chile that barely had any wrestling and came up there, came into Mexico and stuff like that. However, if that's the story you're going for, it makes it quite obvious that Liv's going to win, because the whole story is who makes better superstars, coming up through the Indies in Mexico or coming up in the PC. And I only think one of those is going to win in WWE.
I'm a little indifferent about this promo. Mind you, she looked absolutely amazing, by the way. But going into the contents of her words, I didn't really like it, honestly. And the reason why is because this whole I see you as a worthy opponent, it's almost like you're kind of being nice before telling her she's lazy, or you're
shit.
like I hate the backhanded compliment promos. I hate them shits. This is supposed to be a rivalry. Like Liv Morgan knocked you the fuck out with a microphone, and you over here talking about how good she is. Like, the fuck out of here with this shit. Like what we saw from your running and you coming to straight attack her and you wanting to throw hands with her is more of what I want to see. I don't want to hear her being a worthy opponent. I don't want to hear any of that shit. I don't want to hear how good Liv Morgan is from your voice. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like I want you to want blood. I want you to want to kick her ass. I want you to really want to fucking embarrass her. And you're blending that in, but also complimenting her at the same time. You're not as mad as I need you to be. Like you should be fucking beyond pissed off. Like for a woman to cheap shot you and for all of this shit that's occurred. Nah, like, no. If you're talking about coming up in hell, then you should be wanting to give her hell. But yeah, so I was like, there was parts of it that I enjoyed, but then there was other parts where it's like, no. We're not building Liv Morgan up during this promo. No. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. Liv Morgan already gets enough hype and enough build because she comes out there in her skimpy ass outfits and breaks the internet every week. Like we're good on that. We already know how big of a star Liv Morgan is, and it's not because of her in-ring ability.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
So it was okay to a degree, but nah, we don't need to build Liv Morgan up for this shit. We don't need to build her up. She's already built up. While everybody on the internet is getting bricked up.
Getting bricked up from Liv Morgan. Not surprising. We got Christopher who says Liv Morgan is definitely winning the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 42. Yeah, That's what it felt like from this promo. And yeah, I could see this as well. Chuck Berry saying, I see this match being pretty good at Mania, but I still need a better build. They don't have a better build in them. They're going with this story of their two individual journeys kind of meeting into one, which I can respect it. But yeah, there's probably a better story that they could tell, but they haven't added any depth to the character that is Stephanie Vicaire. They kind of just made her champion very quickly on her main roster run, and they've kind of just done, oh, she has aura, but then they changed her music, which took away
half of it
at the same time. Yeah. So it's a weird approach, but that's WWE for you. During the ad break, we get Danhausen. He comes out to give t-shirts to the crowd, and he is universally cheered. Oh my God, these fans love this guy. Danhausen handed out t-shirts, did his catchphrases, saying that he is very nice, very evil, and he was like, here's some of my t-shirts. If you don't get a t-shirt, go to www.shop.com and get one, because if you don't, you are cursed, as the whole crowd said it in unison. Over like Rover. It's ridiculous how over he is right now. It's like Mr. Iguana after Worlds Collide last year. That's what the crowd just loves, these zany characters like this.
It's fine.
Then we get Stephanie Vicaire's, the Stephanie Vicaire promo went right into the Judgment Day in the clubhouse as they were watching, and Liv was pissed at Stephanie saying that she hid behind her friends. She was with JD McDonough and Raquel Rodriguez, and she told Raquel that she would help her get back into the title picture. Dom storms in and asks if they've seen Finn Balor. They all said no, but McDonough went to look for him. Dom says that he wants to go out there. He wants to get something off his chest. Liv asks if he wants them to go with him, and he says yes. He grabs the AAA Mega Campeon and he heads out to the ring. We get Dom, who enters with Morgan and Raquel. He says that he was upset about losing the Intercontinental Championship and he wanted a rematch and thought that he should be the champion, but he wasn't, and it's because of one man, and that's Finn Balor. Dom didn't want to do this in public, but Balor was making him do that, which led to him calling him out, and the music of Finn Balor hit. Balor comes down to the ring with JD McDonough. Dom asks, where the hell has he been all day? Dom hoped Balor was there to tell him that he got him an IC title rematch. Balor said Dom was right. If it weren't for him, Dom would still be Intercontinental Champion. And he says, for that, I'm sorry. See, that's how you say it, Punk. Balor was just trying to help and teach him a lesson. He says Judgment Day was a family, and they'd always have Dom's back. Balor knew Dom wanted to be the greatest Mysterio of all time, but he had to learn to fight his own battles. Balor has been trying to guide Dom for 2 years now. But the more he did that, the more he realized Dom's dad was right. Maybe you are just a spoiled little prick. They tried to censor the word prick, but you could clearly hear prick. It was funny. They censored little over prick. It was kind of funny. Dom gets pissed off and he shoves Balor right in the face. Balor is turned around. The rest of Judgment Day is shocked at this. Balor then wants to pummel Dom, but instead he kicks him with a Pele kick, shades of his heel turn back in NXT on Johnny Gargano. Balor gets held back by JD McDonough for a second until he pushes McDonough out the way and hits the shotgun drop kick and the sling blade on Dom. No, he hits his sling blade on Dom. He gears up and he's looking for the shotgun drop kick when out of nowhere, JD McDonough clotheslines Finn turning on the man that brought him in to the Judgment Day, turning on his longtime friend and mentor. The crowd reacted big to this. This was the shocking moment of this whole segment. Michael Cole did not have the shock reaction that I needed from him as the lead commentator, but the rest of the Judgment Day did, as they start putting the boots to Balor. You get Dom, Liv, Raquel, and JD all jumping Balor. Dom goes to the outside. He grabs the steel chair and the bell hammer. Balor tries to fight back against them, but it leads to Dom clocking him with the bell hammer. The rest of the Judgment Day are jumping on him. McDonough picks up Balor and places him against the ropes, while Dom is basically lodging the ring bell into his sneaker. The crowd is booing this and telling Dom that he sucks as he hits a 619 with the bell hammer onto Finn. Dom then goes up top as the rest of the Judgment Day gets him in position, and he hits a frog splash on Finn. McDonough then grabs the steel chair. He starts slamming the steel chair into Finn's ribs and his chest before he places the steel chair on top of Finn, and Dom hits another frog splash. The crowd boos as the Judgment Day stand tall, turning on Finn Balor after 2 years of buildup. They finally come to, they have kicked Finn Balor to the curb, meaning that the original 4 members of the Judgment Day have been excommunicated from the group. First, it was Edge in 2022. Then it was Rhea and Damian in 2024. And now in 2026, Finn Balor has been kicked to the curb by the rest of the Judgment Day. Great segment. I thought everyone played their roles so well. This was simple yet effective storytelling, with Finn really showing that, he's been trying to be kind of a mentor to Dom and trying to teach him different lessons, where it always came off like Finn was being kind of petty and jealous of Dom. He kind of put that more in perspective with what he had to say to him, and then just being fed up with Dom being this entitled, spoiled prick and just calling him out on his shit, and Dom not being able to react to that, pushing him and getting aggressive with Finn, and Finn showing that he could whoop Dom's ass at the snap of a dime with the Pele kick and then the sling blade, and then JD making the choice. JD feeling like Finn has always had him in his shadow and trying to be the leader of the Judgment Day, when the Judgment Day has always been about no leaders. Ever since they kicked Edge to the curb, their whole mantra has been there's no leaders of the Judgment Day. We're all a unit. We're all a team. And then you just change that on his head with the whole group turning against Finn, siding with Dom and laying him out. This got the right amount of heat to it as well. This felt like an effective angle to set up what should be Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor at WrestleMania. So it did work. Like I said last week, I wasn't as much in or didn't know the direction of the Intercontinental Championship with Penta beating Dom. It did feel like this angle set it up where this is a heated, prominent matchup on the WrestleMania card, even without the IC title. What did you think?
Very well done. Very well done. It's like you, even if you know what's coming, like they executed it well. And Dom has been consistent the entire time. He's being a little spoiled bitch the entire time. And as Liv Morgan is heated about the Stephanie promo that she just watched on her, she's literally doing that while hiding behind her man. Just throwing that in there too. So yeah, get mad that you're hiding behind you. Well, you're literally doing it as you're watching it. And he calls Finn out. Finn is very, very simple with his words and very logical.
Yeah.
Very logical. But obviously, when you're a young hothead and you're an entitled little spoiled bitch, you're still not going to listen, and you still don't give a fuck. You still lost your title, and you still blaming the man that had nothing to do with you losing your title. It's still everybody's fault but your own. He's at that, yeah, you're supposed to have my back no matter what phase of his life. And yeah, and the fact that Dom got a little pushy with him, that Pele kick was smooth. It was smooth. Like, yeah, he hit that shit well. Like, even obviously, he didn't hit him the weight, but just the execution of it was so good. And JD was kind of conflicted seeing the two of them go, and then it's like he has to make a split-second decision, and the decision was made. And yeah, Michael Cole fucking failed that whole breakdown. Like, he failed that whole breakdown. Like, he gave it no substance, as this is the guy that Finn Balor basically brought into not only the group, but he helped him really like mold him in,
trained him.
Like, he came up with Finn Balor. He came up with, the Prince and all of, and you don't dive into literally like none of that. Like, the JD McDonough is in Judgment Day because of Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And the fact that he chose Dominic Mysterio over the man that literally brought him in the group, that should have been played a lot more from the commentary team. And yeah, like, JD had a crossroads, and JD is tired. JD is, to a degree, is like, I'm tired of being on the back burner. I'm tired of being number 2 and number 3. Like, fuck. Like, now this is I'm gonna make this my own. And no more, like, Dom never claimed JD in his shadows. Dom never claimed to, own JD in any way. They kind of acted together as brothers to a degree.
And Dom, like, taking more of like a leadership role had to do more with him having titles. He never tried to like be upfront teaching people lessons and trying to be the leader in that way. Like, that was Finn's biggest mistake, is him trying to be the leader of the Judgment Day when there is supposed to be no leaders in the Judgment Day.
Yeah. And then it's like, Liv and Raquel are kind of looking. I like the way they played it off too. And then they just said, all right, this is what we doing. All right, this is what we doing. So it wasn't like this whole, they made it and they played it out like it was a split decision. Yeah. Like, it was a in the moment decision, and they just did it. And they just said, all right, that's it. Now, knowing them, they're probably going to say on and fuck up the whole thought process and say this was the plan all along. And it's like, come on, man, y'all, it's like, you saw a man becoming selfish and starting to think about himself once he got a taste of that World Heavyweight Championship and viewed yourself as the sole leader of the group, but you're never around to help the group. So yeah, now this was your time to go. And they kicked his ass. Like, they kicked his ass. And for all sneakerheads that was probably mad as fuck when he was jamming that fucking hammer into his Travis Scott, it's probably, you fucking up the kicks, bro. What the fuck you fucking up the kicks?
I know you was like, what the hell is he doing?
I don't care about Travis Scott sneakers, so I know so many sneakerheads, and they was probably like, yo, he's fucking up the kicks. I was like, I don't give a fuck about Travis Scott. I don't have a Travis Scott in my entire collection. Catching me paying no fucking $1,000 for a fucking shoe. Fucking kiss my ass.
He's like, I'm not the one.
But it was a good segment. It was a really
well done.
Segment. It was a really good segment. And this gives Finn Balor the exposure that he's been so like craving, and not being shackled by the group, because Finn Balor was essentially shackled by Judgment Day for 4 years.
Yeah.
So now that he gets to be his own self, and he kind of gets that 2026 crowd of participation and enjoying and wanting to do shit, like, because when he was doing his entrance, to a degree, it was ahead of the current time.
Yeah.
So now 2026, everybody wants to do everything. So
it was yeeting before yeeting.
Yeah. Yeah, like there wasn't a show you went to when he was the man where you didn't fucking throw your hands up in a live arena, like, you know. But now everybody wants. It's gonna look so cool now that he's gonna be a full blown baby face. They gonna eat this shit up.
Good question by Chuck Berry's in the chat. He says, now for Dom versus Finn at WrestleMania, do you bring back the demon gimmick? Yes or no? If Finn's winning, yes. Which he should. He should win at WrestleMania. So yes, I think that they should bring back the demon.
I think Finn is due a big win at WrestleMania. Like, he's due one. Like, Rey Mysterio's little boy is going to probably have another 10, 12 of these shits. Like, Finn Balor is not going to have as many. So, and while he can still really, really go, like, give him a fucking WrestleMania moment. He fucking deserves it.
Yeah.
Like, he's been your punching bag for 4+ years. Like, he made a bum list because of the sacrifices he's made. Give the man his fucking flowers at the fucking stage because he's fucking earned it.
Josh gave him the motivation he needed. Josh lit a fire under his ass. That's why Finn's been handling business in 2026.
Like, in the current state of the wrestlers and not having to deal with 300-pounders and having to deal, like, Finn could easily become a world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Like, easily. Like, he doesn't have to deal with these fucking monsters in the ring. There's only really now you got Obafemi, but you got a small handful of people that would really make, like, Finn look really tiny. Like, and that's when I'm pretty sure, like, they probably had trepidation on back then because he was fighting guys like Roman Reigns on a regular basis. Then you had active wrestlers like back then. You had The Undertaker. You had all of these other fucking, like, gargantuan people that would make him look like a dwarf. Like, even fucking Edge made Finn look small. Like so they probably had that complex of pushing somebody that's this size, but the landscape has drastically changed. So you could easily get away with this now.
Yeah. I would love to see Finn get pushed up the card. It's just, I don't know what the openings are, because the World Heavyweight Championship seems to be kind of full for, like, the duration of 2026. Because I could see, you know, like we said before, the Roman Punk matchup can go either way, but whoever wins that is probably going to lose the title to Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker's going to need a lengthy run with the title. So, yeah. And then is he supposed to go for the Intercontinental Championship? Because Penta feels like someone.
He should. Yes, exactly.
But Penta feels like someone who should hold the Intercontinental title
for a while. Yeah, but Finn Balor could become champion. He could become a champion by the summer.
I feel like after Penta, there's someone like a Javon Evans that you need to give him a push at some point.
And they're in line, but I think Finn Balor he's waited his time for so long. Like, it's been literally 10 years since he's been in the position. And yes, he's been thrown bones here. He's been thrown a couple matches here and there. And I'm not saying he needs to go right into the championship picture, but he can now start to rack up wins and start to make himself important again and start to contend in big matches that involves championships. Like, doesn't mean that he's got to go win them all right away, but if he's involved, you see what happened to Penta. Penta's been involved all year, and then it paid off within a year. You can do the same for Finn Balor.
That's true.
You just got to make him important. And the fans and people and anybody that does podcasts, anybody that goes to shows, loves Finn Balor in the ring.
Yeah.
And he's
one of the smartest workers in the ring today.
And that's not debatable. Like, Finn Balor is one of the smoothest, and he's a cool looking dude, and he's got a personality. Like, it's not like he's like this fucking vanilla ice cream over here in personality. but he's great in the fucking ring. No, he's not Chad Gable.
I think Chad Gable's got plenty of personality and charisma
now
too.
He started to grow personality, but before that was literally his problem for so long, is that he was so vanilla.
Nah, he's always had it. They stripped him away from it. When he first was introduced, you're bugging. He came off like a Kurt Angle 2.0 when he was introduced in NXT.
And that was a problem because he was literally mimicking to the T something that we've seen, and we wouldn't accept it. People were not accepting Kurt Angle 2.0 because he was not better than Kurt Angle.
I've always loved Chad Gable. I think he's always had charisma.
I don't disagree about loving Chad Gable. I don't disagree. But Finn Balor is mimicking and copying no one.
Gable, he's an original. I don't think Chad Gable's copying anyone. You just get the comparison.
A carbon copy of Kurt. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my God.
I disagree.
All right. We're gonna definitely agree to disagree on this one.
Dion says, move Finn to SmackDown, put him in the U.S. title scene. I personally think Finn's time has passed to be world champion. I wouldn't say that.
It's because
he's never really had a run as world champion.
He's been put in a position for so long that that's the general consensus, though. Yeah. That's probably a general consensus, is that this time is long gone. It's been 10 years. But Finn Balor is not exactly in his 50s. He's not a spring chicken no more. But Finn Balor is literally probably in better shape than every human living.
Yes. So. He got more abs than most wrestling fans have brain cells. Anyway, backstage, Adam Pearce talks to Javon Evans about his performance in the Elimination Chamber match. He said he saw big things for him in 2026. Evans said that he wouldn't let him down, and Pearce told him to enjoy the week. Javon was pleasantly surprised to hear that he had the whole week off, but then the New Day approached him. We get Kofi Kingston and Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller tried to confront Evans and say that they haven't forgot about Atlanta, Georgia, but Kofi told Waller to leave. Then Kofi talks to Javon one-on-one, and he says they got off on the wrong foot. He said Xavier Woods got injured and Offset was out of line, but Kingston got offended and he took it out on Evans. But the truth was, Javon reminded him of himself. Kofi became WWE champion and he thought Evans could do the same thing. Evans just needed the right team around him. Evans was about to turn him down, but Kofi told him to think about it. He offered a handshake, but Evans didn't shake his hand, but he did say that he would think about it. This was interesting. This felt like the first actual story of substance that Kofi or the New Day has been involved in since they turned heel in 2024. It's been almost 2 years.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it.
Same.
Because it creates not only weekly placement, they just need to find. I don't give a fuck if they just decide to throw this motherfucker onto a fucking car and he's injured, or they write him. They can get Grayson Waller out the fucking picture. He just needs to be out the fucking picture. But having Javon link with somebody like Kofi, essentially his mentor, on a week-to-week basis, and even if they are in a story together, this is a lot more interesting than pretty much everything that the New Day has dealt with in the entirety of 2025. And there, Xavier is going to eventually come back, and when he eventually comes back, there could be some tea leaves there. Could be some teases, could be some little things there. But this does not look right with Grayson Waller in this picture. No, he's a bum. I don't know how he didn't make Josh's bum list, but
they're gonna they should do Javon versus Grayson. Winner gets to hang out with New Day.
Like I don't know how Grayson did not make his bum list. I don't know how. He's top 5. But, he's probably such a bum, he probably was completely forgotten about.
Yeah. The forgotten. We needed the forgotten 15. We got Dion who says, "Can y'all give Royce Keys a program too?" He's gonna probably be on SmackDown, and I think they can't bring him in right now, Dion, because they obviously don't have plans for him at WrestleMania. So that would be a mistake to bring him in now. They gotta wait till after WrestleMania now. At this point.
Yeah. I thought I was thinking about Royce as well. As I don't see him doing anything until after WrestleMania, because the WrestleMania programs are already essentially like, they're already building up and lining up. Like, who is he possibly going to build a program with where he has no history pretty much with anybody on this roster? Yeah. And the person that he has history with on this roster is kind of occupied in one of the main events.
Yeah, the two guys that he has history with is Punk and Cody. The two guys that are in the main events of WrestleMania.
Two main events.
Yeah.
Just throw Royce Keys in there and make it a triple threat, right?
We get Jackie Redmond, who's backstage with Bayley, asking about her Intercontinental title match next week. Bayley thanked Lyra Valkyria for having her back earlier, and she called AJ Lee a legend. And if it wasn't for her, a lot of them wouldn't be there now. The IC title was one that she's wanted for a very long time since it was created. And Bayley also offered Valkyria a shot of her own if she had won next week, which Lyra was very excited to hear. She was making kind of weird faces as well. There's been this rumor that Lyra might turn heel on Bayley, kind of turning around where this story looked like it was originally going, but we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. It's Bayley going one-on-one with AJ Lee. Should be a fun one there. I would say this has a better shot of being AJ's best singles match over the Becky Lynch match since her return.
You see, that's what I mean about these niggas overcooking shit. Like I like Bayley and Lyra together. Like,
same.
They're fine. Like, why just hot shot it and break? I don't like that. I wouldn't like the idea. I mean, they would have to like perfectly execute it, but they're fine. Like, leave them alone.
I kind of want them to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania.
And goddamn, I don't know if, but it just seems like Bayley's knockers are just getting bigger and bigger by the week.
Dude.
Like, what the fuck? Those are some fluffy pillows.
We're going to need a disclaimer for Top Guy JJ soon, folks. Up next, we get your favorite, Rusev, going one-on-one with Oba Femi. Femi was in control early on until Rusev kicked him off of the apron. He drove him into the ring post and then hits him with a spinning heel kick that sent Oba into the announce table. We get Rusev hitting the Mashka kick when we come back into the ring, but Femi exploded up out of it and hits a running uppercut. The story of this matchup was Rusev, no matter how hard he hit Oba, Oba would never get off of his feet unless he did it himself. Oba hits him with a huge Beal, sending him across the ring. He then follows up and finishes off Rusev with the fall from grace. This match just went over 3 minutes. Oba Femi picks up the victory against the number one of our bum 15, Rusev. This was exactly what it needed to be. It didn't need to be any more, any less than this. Oba Femi looking dominant. This does make it like confusing of why they spent so much time building up this matchup only to give us 3 minutes. But hey, Oba Femi looked strong. That's what it needed to be. But I didn't need 3 weeks of build for a 3-minute matchup. What did you think?
This is exactly what I said was going to happen last week. It's literally exactly what I said was going to happen last week. It happened to perfection. Rusev was the LVP last week, and he's going to double down on it and become the LVP this week by getting his ass handed to him by Obafemi, and it's literally exactly what took place. To waste this man's time for a month to lose in 180 seconds. I love that for him. I love that for Rusev because he just
couldn't happen to a better guy.
It just fits so perfect that, oh man, like when I watched that, I just had the only smile on my face. Like he did exactly what I said he was gonna do, and he did it to perfection. He showed how strong Oba was. He got in a couple of good hoss hits. And the match was over.
Simple, to the point.
And Rusev now goes away again. After running back-to-back LVP weeks.
I'd kind of be embarrassed, but you would have to have any type of stature. I think that Rusev might bring back Rusev Day. I think that's his only hope to get over.
Over?
In some way, I guess.
He's over.
It's a wrap.
Fans.
Hit him with the Vince Carter. It's over. Next week, we got a good lineup for Monday Night Raw in San Antonio, Texas. The aforementioned AJ Lee versus Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Brock Lesnar makes his return, presumably without Paul Heyman. We also got the original El Grande Americano going one-on-one with the new El Grande Americano. So they finally go one-on-one next week in San Antonio. This is a wise decision because they do have a lot of Lucha Libre fans in that part of the world. And then, of course, the Tribal Chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns makes his return to Monday Night Raw next week in San Antonio.
Roman Reigns returns.
Roman Reigns returns. Roman Reigns returns. Roman Reigns returns. 1 week off, that's a return. Speaking of Roman Reigns, we're going to hear from his opponent at WrestleMania 42, CM Punk, in the final segment here. We got Power Drive Finisher says, bro, at this point, make that a Memorial Day. Talking about Rusev's loss, Rusev Day. Then King Davion says Rusev is just there at this point.
That point's been there. He's always just been there.
Yeah, he's always just been there, been in the movie.
I think he's been around he's been back for almost a year already.
Yes, this April makes a year.
And this nigga has done nothing meaningful.
He had that feud with Sheamus, and that's it. That's it. Just a feud with Sheamus. But same thing for Aleister Black. He just had a feud with Damian Priest, but he's in a much better position than Rusev is.
Yeah, at least Aleister wins sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Main event segment time. CM Punk, the World Heavyweight Champion, comes out to a big reaction. He signed some autographs, shook some hands with the fans during the ad break. He then gets on the mic and he gave a shout out to the Seahawks. Punk admitted that he wasn't sure how the fans would react to him this week after what he said last week. He said he thought that some of them would be mad at him. Some people were upset about things that he said last week. One thing in particular was characterized as disrespectful. He knew Roman Reigns never respected him, but Punk would force him to respect the position he held. Championships were made to find out who the best were. The best go on to defend their championships, and this title in particular was created because Roman Reigns shunned his championship responsibilities and refused to defend his title. Punk defended his title because he was proud of it, and the fans deserved a fighting champion. But Punk defended the title. When Punk defended the title, he leveled up the competition. If you faced him, you had to level up physically and verbally. Otherwise, he would leave you dumbfounded and slack-jawed, just like he did Roman Reigns last week. Unfortunately, Punk lowered himself to Reigns' level, and it's been on his mind all week. But before he can continue, out comes Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. Jay was the hothead as per usual and was red hot at Punk. He immediately gets on the mic and he tells Punk to apologize right now. Punk asks if Reigns was still sending his cousins to do his heavy lifting. Jay said they came out there on their own and told him again to apologize. Jimmy held back his brother and he gets on the mic, very poised, very calm, and he states, this had nothing to do with Roman and everything to do with respect. Jimmy told Phil that he respected him because he spoke from his mind and ran right through his obstacles. Jimmy says that Punk called himself the voice of the voiceless, and he can trash talk Roman all he wanted to, but he disrespected their late uncle, who had no voice. Probably the best line of the whole promo here. Best line. Jimmy told Punk to apologize. Punk said that Jimmy was right. Sika didn't have a voice. Punk wasn't spiritual, but he knew that the Usos were. He asked if they believed Sika could hear them right now, and Jimmy said yes. Punk hoped he could hear this. Punk says that he was friends with the Usos, but he went back a long way with their family. He respected Sika, but didn't know him as well as he knew Alpha. When he lived in Philadelphia, he would drive to Allentown, Pennsylvania to wrestle. He wouldn't say he wrestled for free. Alpha was generous enough to give him gas money, food, or a roof over his head if he needed it. But Punk was really paid in knowledge, sitting under the Wild Samoans learning tree. It was a thrill to sit back of the pickup truck with Samu and have him drop some knowledge on him. Everyone in their family showed him respect. He said he even used to babysit Lance during shows. Everyone in the Samoan family showed him respect, except for that one son of a bitch. If the Usos believed that Sika could hear and see this, then Sika could also see what a lying, conniving, backstabbing, manipulative, gaslighting, egotistical, narcissistic, plastic politician his son Roman is. Jay got in Punk's face and reminded him this wasn't about Roman. He told Punk to apologize. Some fans chanted, say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. Punk then shook both of the Usos' hands and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Roman Reigns treated the two of you and the rest of his family and the bloodline like garbage for years. Never once came out here publicly to apologize for the way he treated his family that he loves. Punk was sorry that Reigns disrespected one of his mentors, Dusty Rhodes, when he called him irrelevant, and was somehow not on the hook for apologizing, but somehow Punk was. He was sorry that Reigns had tricked everyone. You, his Samoan family, the fans, the people in this company, into thinking that he gave a single damn about any of them or any of this. Because if he did care about them or the people or him or the business, Punk would be talking to him right now instead of his young boys. Punk shoved the mic in Jay's chest. Jay shoved him right back. Punk was about to return the favor, but Jimmy cold clocked him. That looked like a shoot punch right in the side of the head. Punk then sat up and watched as Jimmy held Jay back as they left the ring, and we closed the show with Punk getting to his feet as the Usos left out of the arena. Excellent segment. This was everything that last week didn't give me. The delivery from everyone involved was on point and made a world of sense. And it's the fact of the matter is you can see where everyone is right and where everyone is wrong. Punk is wrong because of what he said last week, but he's right in holding his convention. And even when you listen to what he says before the Usos came out, it sounded like he was going to apologize on his own. He didn't need the Usos to come out here to tell him to apologize. He said that what he said last week and stooping to that level was on his mind all week. So you can see in a world that Punk was going to apologize, but as soon as the Usos came out and demanded him to be apologized, you had Punk going to his human nature. His human nature is always to go against the grain, go against any type of authority, and not doing what other people want him to do. So Punk was natural in his response to them, but the Usos were. So this was the best character work, the most measured performance from Jimmy or Jay since the Bloodline saga ended. This was them at their peak. This is them when they are all about their family. It's not about Roman. It's not about everything that Roman did to them. It's about the fact that Punk disrespected their family. They accepted Roman saying yeet to them before the War Games in 2024 as the apology for them. That was Roman acknowledging that Jay had come up and become this big star, that Jimmy was standing on his own 2 feet, that Jimmy and Jay were down for the reunion with Roman, but weren't going to be treated like they were treated before. That's how family is. You don't need the big I'm sorry, I'm apology or anything like that. All you need is some type of acknowledgement. That's what Roman Reigns is all about. So Punk bringing it back to that's Punk being petty. That's Punk being petty and holding stuff and trying to hold someone to be accountable when he's not willing to be accountable when he's called out on it. So you see where the Usos are right. You see where Roman is right. You also see where Roman is wrong because he never did really apologize to the Usos or to his family for how he treated them. You see how the Usos are wrong for stepping up and stepping in the way when it's really about the whole rivalry and the disrespect and the issues between Roman and Punk. But Punk is also wrong. Punk is 100% wrong because he's always willing to point out anybody else's wrongdoings or accountability when he's never willing to take accountability when he's called out on it. He always holds up. And everything that Punk said to Roman, how he said that he's in Roman's head, that Roman's obsessed with him. He proved on this promo, he's obsessed with Roman, that he is everything that he said about Roman. It's him. It's him, really. He's the one that Roman is 100% in his head, that he can suck up his pride and apologize for doing something wrong because he is so obsessed with Roman Reigns and the disrespect that he feels Roman has given to him. The character work is so multi-dimensional, so multi-layered. This segment was fucking incredible. What did you think?
Very well said there. This was very, very good. This was very good. And I like how it's carrying over and the dialogue is now expanding. The tree of explanations is now it's expanding, and the people that it's affecting is now growing. CM Punk is always gonna be CM Punk. He's always gonna be Phil. He's always gonna be that guy that once you pin him in a corner, he's gonna do everything to fight out of it. If you kind of let things happen naturally, you might get a different result if he doesn't feel pressured to do something. It's the minute he's pressured into doing something is where everything you want out of this pressure you're applying is going to be the complete opposite of what you get. That's been his MO, his entire professional wrestling life. Yeah. So, But I absolutely loved the work of Jey Uso in this promo. Jey Uso was bloodline hot in this promo here. Like, he was that uncontrollable hothead that wouldn't hear shit. Like, he had red in his eyes and red in his voice, and he didn't care about a fucking word that man had to say. The only thing he wanted was for that man to say, "I'm sorry." That's all he wanted out of this whole sequence. He ain't want to level with him. He ain't want to talk with him. He ain't want to share stories with him. He wanted one thing. And then Jimmy, so good. Like, Jimmy just comes in and just literally gives Punk flowers, kind of level sets with him, kind of like builds him up a little bit to kind of ease his tension, and then explains to him as to why he is seeking, why his hot-headed brother and himself is seeking this apology, and saying that you are talking about someone that can't defend themselves. You are talking about burying somebody next to somebody that is actually amongst the unliving. Like you crossed the line here. Like, you're not talking about, oh, I'm gonna bury you next to your other irrelevant Samoans that's like off TV and they're doing other things. You're literally talking about my dead uncle. That's that. Like, you and Roman do whatever the fuck y'all want, but you're now talking about my dead uncle. This, I don't care what you two do, how you fucking hate each other, and the hate for Roman Reigns has started to show from CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because now you're starting to see how CM Punk hates Roman Reigns. Because in CM Punk's twisted mind, Roman Reigns has been in CM Punk's spot for the last 10 years. That's CM Punk's...
It came off like Chris Jericho in 2008 talking about Shawn Michaels. Like Punk is like offended by the fans forgiving Roman Reigns for all of his misgivings. That's what it really said. He's mad. He's mad at the fans. He's mad at the family. He's mad at the company for forgiving Roman Reigns for the way he acted in that position when he was basically vilified in that same position all those years ago.
But at the same time, none of that's relevant to the conversation that they're having. Yeah. Like, Roman Reigns and how he treats his family has nothing to do with CM Punk. CM Punk calling out Roman Reigns for calling Dusty Rhodes, God rest that man's soul, the American Dream, calling his son irrelevant, has nothing to do with CM Punk. There is nothing directly that Roman Reigns has said to CM Punk for CM Punk to get to where he's at and say what he said at the level he said it at. Why? Because a man hates you? He hates you? And he is going to send you. So Roman kept it completely in line of professional wrestling. Say, yeah, I'm going to send you back down to NXT. You're going to do all of it. He kept it in the confines of wrestling. And when CM Punk broke that and broke the confines of wrestling and involved many people's ancestor that is now in the dirt to the family, you fucked up. You fucked up. And all we want you to do is take that part back. Everything else, keep it. I want that part back. And the fact that CM Punk hoodwinked them and telling them he's sorry and shaking both their hands.
Yeah.
And then goes on the tirade of sorry for Roman being this maniacal and this politician and him disrespecting and not loving or caring about the fans, the industry, and all of that. That's what really set the Usos off, because it's like, can you do one thing we fucking ask you? one fucking thing without flipping it to some bullshit that we have nothing to do with. This has nothing to do with us, with you and him. But you fucking disrespected my uncle. You disrespected my uncle. All I want you to do is take that back, and you go right back to your problems with him. And he fucking turns around and he attempts to play victim while sounding like the biggest dickhead in the world is the best version of CM Punk you're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
And that's what made this so good. Because you got every predictable layer but delivered so perfectly. Like CM Punk is still a piece of shit. No matter what the situation is, no matter who's involved. And he's going to hoodwink you and try to convince you that he's right.
Someone who might feel differently about this is our Chicago native who is backstage and ready to join us. CM Punk enthusiast, Stat King John Martin's here.
Oh, let's go! What's up, Stat King? Yo, long time, brother.
Going on, man. No, part of the reason why I'm on here is because ironically I had not seen the segment, and I saw in one of the chats that they were discussing at the THH chat, and I had no idea what was going on. But then, conveniently, today, my CM Punk side plates arrived. The only reason why I wanted him to win a world title was so I could get side plates. He did. I got side plates. So if he loses, I could care less.
You got the plates.
Can't take that away from me.
Are you gonna do your unboxing now?
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's put him on the big screen. Let's do this unboxing.
But as it pertains to the segment, I was talking about it with Sid. It is a beautiful moment because it's like both sides are right and both sides are completely wrong at the same time. So as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's dope.
I like that. And it's got a little lock ski there.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Hey.
Look at that.
If I was still into buying plates, I would have so bought those.
This is the only honestly, the only reason why I wanted him to even go back to WWE at any point was to win a world title so I could get side plates. So if he left the company tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I'd be happy. I got what I wanted.
Got what I wanted out of everything.
But while we got you, so you probably heard both SP and I.
I now know what happened with the segment. So yeah.
So what was the most like catching moment for you as far as like
my favorite part of this is Jimmy. It's not Punk, it's not Jay, it's Jimmy. Because the thing is Jay has had Punk's back and Punk has had Jay's back to a certain extent, the two of them last year. And so like Jay's coming at this hot because he doesn't really know how to always control his anger. But the message that he's giving is just like this, like, I thought we were friends. Like, regardless of whatever's going on with you and Roman, I thought we were friends. And it's still my uncle. Like, why would you say that about my uncle? And Jimmy there to be like, to kind of just show the hypocrisy in what Punk's doing of the idea of this is a person who can't defend themselves. Like, even if it's not our uncle, like we're the ones bringing this message to you because it is our uncle. But even if it wasn't our uncle, it doesn't take away the fact that this person cannot defend themselves. So why would you, who claims to be somebody who defends people who can't defend themselves, or at least speaks for people who can't speak for themselves, why would you want to do something like this? And Punk, I see the argument, like why in his brain it makes sense, because like he's saying to himself, if I apologize, it automatically makes me look like I did something wrong. And so like, I don't think like they're going to understand the point I'm trying to make because they're only here for the apology. They're not here to understand they're not understanding to hear why it is I'm saying what I'm saying. But at the same time, you catch more flies with honey. And if he had started off with the apology, it'd have been like, it wasn't the fact, like, I get the fact that it was your uncle, but really what I was trying to say was this, which Sid, as you pointed out, is what Finn Balor was doing to Dom. He was saying, hey, like, I've been trying to help you and you're just being a stubborn asshole. Like, what do you want me to do here? But this was a really great segment. I didn't see, because I really don't watch most wrestling anymore. I did not see that much of the segment the week prior where the two of them were arguing, but I did hear the part about I'm going to bury your father. So I knew obviously something's going to happen there. But this exceeded the expectations of what it was supposed to be, because you could have easily just had something where the Usos get in Punk's face, there's this back and forth, and then they hit each other, but like, which is technically speaking what happened, but the way they did it was so much better than what WWE normally would have done, I think, in this situation. Yeah. So I don't know who necessarily was the producer or the agent for the segment, but like, they did a really good job. And a part of me, despite the fact because I always like to think to myself, what are ways that, and Sid and I were talking about this when we just did our total rankings of the screams, which you guys can see on True Hill Heat Sports Entertainment. But when we were just talking about that, we were talking about the idea of swerving not just for the sake of swerving, but swerving to get something out of it, right? Because in Scream, the swerve in the beginning is the most famous person who's in the cast is going to die immediately.
Scream 7 was really good, by the way.
we found the person who left that message on the short.
I don't give a fuck what anybody said. That shit was good.
Listen, JJ's a big fan.
Strongly disagree, but
he's a big fan of Pitch Perfect and the Barden Bellas and Anna Camp. There's always one. But
it's fucking circumstances. It's humor horror.
That's true. It is humor horror. But the idea, like this idea of advertising, right? What different people's schedules is, like Cody, Brock, Roman. A part of me thought that a great way to swerve an audience would be when Punk was saying, if it meant this much to him, I'd be talking to him and not you. I thought for a second Roman's music was going to play, because I was like, that's how you swerve an audience and you get something out of it, because we're not expecting Roman to be here. We don't believe he's going to be here. But then it sort of does undermine Punk's point, where it's like, he's still sending you guys out to do something, where maybe it was like, Jay was like, hey, if that were to happen, Jay's like, let me talk to him first, or Jimmy's like, let us talk to him first. But yeah, I thought this was a really great segment to kind of light even more of a fire under, probably the best developed feud that they have going into WrestleMania right now.
This is their money. This is their absolute money.
Like maybe this, like the only thing I could see as a second best, or to make this second best, would be Stephanie and Liv, because there's just been a little bit more confrontation about it. But there's
not much story there. So.
Right. I'm just saying, like, the interaction level. Yeah. But like, this is by far but for like maybe that one, this is the most well-developed one. So like, seeing this like really get underneath it, I am interested to see where they go from here. Obviously, like, by all rights, Roman should just jump him. And I would like, that makes the most sense to me. But it also, like, doing similarly to how Punk doesn't want to do things simply because that's what authority figures or somebody is demanding of him, Roman doesn't tend to do things simply because that's what we expect. And so I think that having that little bit more of a nuance to how he approaches the situation, I think that'll be really interesting, because, like, is he just going to talk, or is he going to, get off the porch, so to speak?
And I feel like we're going to get our first hint of physicality next
week. Yeah.
We have to. We kind of have to. We do got a super chat donation talking about that from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, SP3 on Saturday, you guys talked about WWE possibly bringing up Larry the Dog into this as a promo. Do you guys still see that happening, or do they even need to at this point? Honestly, now after this promo, you don't need to. That muddies the water, where Punk has really, like, between saying the line last week and then his, like, it just hit me when I saw you in the studio. I was like, he very much is Chris Jericho against Shawn Michaels in 2008. Before Chris Jericho turns on Michaels, he's pointing out how Michaels is basically as bad as he's ever been. Like, he's cheating to win, he's faking injuries, like he's pointing out the flaw, but the fans don't care because they love Shawn Michaels. That's what Punk is doing, where he's talking about how he's fooled the fans, he's fooled his Samoan family, he fooled this company into believing that he gives a damn, when I see through him. He's plastic, he's a politician, he's egotistical, he's manipulative, he's like indignant to the fact that everybody seems to have forgiven Roman Reigns for all of his past transgressions, while he's being held accountable for everything that he's doing wrong.
In a fun flip, CM Punk right now is to Roman Reigns what Seth Rollins was to CM Punk when Punk first came back. Seth was pointing out some of the hypocrisies of Punk's actions, particularly how he left and what he did during the interim, the Colt Cabana podcast, and so on and so forth. But it didn't really matter what Seth was saying. The crowd was just automatically on Punk's side, partially because Punk had just come back and because like they had a good back and forth. So Punk was scoring shots of his own on Seth. So it is interesting to see now how the tables have turned. It's just it reminded me of when Punk was talking to Cody and he was saying, "What's that in the distance?" "Oh, it's a much bigger star coming to take away your shine." And now Punk is like dealing with Roman, and it's like, well, now it's somebody that is just as bulletproof, maybe even more bulletproof than you are when it comes to getting a crowd on your side. So seeing how he deals with that and how Roman deals with that. But I mean, ultimately, is he not right? That
it's
Roman
actually really funny that you
apologized.
say that, because it might be like 2 years past date.
Mm-hmm.
But CM Punk is totally right about that bigger star coming to take his shine, because goddamn, Cody Rhodes' championship match means diddly shit compared to this.
Diddly squat to this.
It's
not. These are two uneven.
Which is wild.
Which
is wild because Cody versus Orton on paper should be should be the night 2 headliner because of the history of the two guys, the fact that the WWE title was involved, and we once upon a time had a legacy triple threat at Mania.
Yeah.
And this is like and that versus these two guys who, yes, they do have the history of the Shield and bringing the Shield in as a group and all that kind of stuff. Like they do have that, but they really didn't touch that much. Like when they were in the company at the same time, like at most you have you're going to lose, but you have to make Roman look strong. Like that's the real heart of the matter here. So it's fascinating to see. I did think about, we were talking about the idea of, Sid, you and I were talking about the idea of like somebody apologizing in family. It's how the family needs to accept it. It reminded me of probably terrible choice to quote, but the Kanye Last Call or Family Business song, where he's saying like, if you said you didn't do it, you didn't do it, and if you did, that's family business.
Family business.
And that's like that. Like, and I think it's an interesting thing also because like it blurs the lines, right, of what is real and what is not. Because for somebody like Punk, both as a character and in real life, if it doesn't happen on camera, it didn't happen. Like in the sense of kayfabe. Whereas with Roman and the Usos and how the Samoans operate, it does kind of have that idea of like, well, this is still just a family. So like, like if Rock and Roman had their WrestleMania main event, they still would have been cousins. Like they still would have gone to family gatherings and all that kind of stuff. Like, but if Punk has an issue with somebody in wrestling, it's going to happen in real life, whether right or wrong. And so like that, I think also is a great way to blur the lines of what the business means to what it can mean to one person versus what it can mean to somebody else. So like if they can find ways to pull on these threads, they can turn this into something. Will they? I don't know, but probably not.
I mean, and I think to your point, what you alluded to something that on paper for Cody and Orton should be, I don't even think it should be. And the reason why I don't even think it should be is because the way it got here was completely manufactured. And the reason why we're so heavily invested into the Roman and Punk thing is because they're dragging and making they're blurring these lines between real life animosity and in-ring performance. And in-ring performance is Mike, is all of that stuff, character work and everything, but they've blended a little bit of that decade of animosity that's in there that makes it feel like you're guessing what's real and what did they produce and how does it come out on TV. Cody and Randy can't even come close to this right now.
Right.
Like,
See, I guess what I'm saying is like if what I meant is like if in January or like end of December somebody said to you, here are 2 WrestleMania main events for night 1 and night 2, and they said we're going to give you Orton and Rhodes and Reigns and Punk, the natural inclination maybe, oh well, it should be Rhodes and Orton because there's so much more history there. But to your point, because they took so long to get there and kind of cement it, Randy has to, like, because I don't think it's going to be Cody, Randy has to basically turn heel in 3 days. Like they need to do something where like it's
dramatic.
What they could do is like it's a celebration segment. It's Brandy being there, and then this motherfucker RKO's Brandy, and that's like, you know, how you do something to get that there. And your setup for that was Sammy like coming to Orton and being like, doesn't that kind of grind your gears that this guy got and then Orton's like, sometimes you just got to think for, you know, be selfish. And that's where, you know, but like, you're right. They have not done, because they took so long to get there.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a main event.
And we talked about it on True Hill Heat. If it like, even if you're not watching like week to week, it feels, and you don't know like the backstage and the dirt sheets, what the dirt sheets talking about, it feels like just watching it just feels like a plan D. It doesn't feel like a plan B. Right. It doesn't feel like a plan C. It feels like plan D, that they haphazardly got to this very predictable matchup. Like if you were watching a year ago, you're like, oh, they're going to eventually do Randy and Cody, and they're going to do it on a big stage. The key to this is why Roman and Punk feels much hotter than Cody and Orton. Cody and Orton, yeah, they have a whole bunch of history, but for the last 2 years, we've seen them be best of friends. Whereas Roman and Punk, they have that real life hatred. Like I said it when Swerve and Omega were beefing on AEW television before their matchup, where it's 2 top stars with a tangible issue with one another. And that's what Roman and Punk has had. And the promo segments and even this one last night, it has only built on that. And now it feels like the hottest thing in WWE right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like that. It does show, I guess, I don't know, like the amount of foresight or forethought that was happening here, but also like the ability to pivot. Because to your point, like if the original plan was Rhodes and Reigns, and both guys were like, yeah, that's not going to work for me, brother, then the ability to pivot into different storylines. You know, then you deal with the Seth injury. At least here in the case of Reigns and Punk, like it's so fascinating, right? Because like originally the plan 2 years ago was Rollins Punk. Then you couldn't get that because of the Punk injury. So you ended up getting Rollins Drew. But then a year later, you're like, okay, we're gonna do Rollins Punk, but let's involve Reigns because we don't really have anything, or sort of, we don't have much for Reigns to do. And realistically, in that situation, almost what you needed instead was Reigns Punk, because in order to get Reigns involved, you had to do something to put it on the same level as Seth Punk, but it became stronger. And now a year later, you're getting Reigns Punk when you should have done this last year, and that year you should have done Seth Punk the year prior. So it is interesting. Like at least when they're pivoting into things that they'd already laid the groundwork for. There was no groundwork laid for Orton and Rhodes, which is kind of why it's like, you know, Top Guy's new movie of the year. It's kind of like Scream 7, where they had to keep changing the plots over and over and over again because they had to change the directors.
Don't drag it. I said I enjoyed it. I went with the entire family, and they liked it, and I liked it too. That doesn't mean it's going to be in top 20 for me, but to digress a little bit, to make like animosity is always going to defeat history.
Yes.
The animosity will always defeat history. And right now, that's all Rhodes and Orton has is history. Like, there's no animosity between these two. Like, it's literally like two good guys about to clash. And no one cares about that when you got this fucking ball of flames over here. The fucking engine is about to blow up over here. And a whole fucking family element is fucking involved in there. You're going to go to the burning car opposed to that nice, crisp, cooling water that's over there. Everybody wants to see what the fuck is exploding.
Yeah, it's true.
That is true.
But yes, we're gonna cap things off, give our ratings for the show, but we want to thank Stat King,
my brother.
Yeah, thank you, Stat King.
You
gotta join us more on this channel, but you do a lot of great stuff over on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. Let the people know where they can see you over there or where they can follow you. The floor is yours, sir.
As always, you guys can catch me on the True Hill Heat Sports Entertainment channel. We cover, myself and Chase, we have 2 football shows, one covering the games during the season itself called True Picks, another one covering the offseason, True Offseason. We're currently in offseason mode, and we have Free Agency Frenzy that's happening. So we'll be coming back to you guys this week talking about everything for free agents. And then may die down a little bit before we get closer to the draft. But if you are a TV enthusiast, Chase and I also clock in for The Pit, where we talk about everything that happens on HBO Max's The Pit, one of the best medical dramas and shows on television currently. And we did a season 1 recap, and then we jumped in over for season 2, and we're going episode by episode for that. And you can catch me and Sid doing True Headphone Heat. We broke down the J. Cole album, and we're going to be bringing a lot more music talk to you guys sooner rather than later. As always, it's great to be on here. I love getting a chance to talk about wrestling with the guys. And JJ is right. It's been a long time since I was on the main channel. So thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Nah, appreciate you, brother. Enjoy the rest
Awesome
of your
seeing
day,
you,
and we'll
brother.
see you
Hell
soon.
yeah.
Take it easy, guys.
Great pop in, man. Hell yeah.
Later. All right, guys, y'all know what time it is. It's time to give your ratings for the show. So let us know your MVP, your LVP, your match of the night, your moment of the night, whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give last night's Monday Night Raw? For me and Top Guy JJ, for the March 9th, 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw, in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Out of 10, what did you give last night's show, JJ?
Can't believe I'm actually saying this. I'm giving this show an 8.
That's where I was at too. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I gave last week what, a 7.5. I think I gave it a 7 or 7. No, I think I gave it a 7. So I'll give this one. Yeah, this is an 8. This is a jump up. You had 2 really hot angles on this show, and it's been so long since we got 2 hot angles. I thought the Gauntlet match was a fun matchup. I thought the Gauntlet match was a fun matchup. Penta and El Grande was a good matchup as well. Obafemi and Rusev was exactly what it needed to be, but it really comes down to the Judgment Day turning on Finn Balor and the Usos and Punk in the main event. That's what's going to be remembered from this show. So a really good show from Monday Night Raw this week.
Yeah, a lot happened this week.
Yeah.
Like a lot happened this week. And honestly, if that opening segment didn't happen, I'd have been closer to an 8.5 or 9. The opening segment is what kind of even took away a half a point or a point for me. But they're still even
that opening segment was a dud. I'm actually going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm sorry. I just remember.
And they took off. Yeah, so I was 8.5, but that segment literally took off like half a point for me.
Yeah, I wanted to deduct the half a point, so I'm giving it a 7.5.
Yeah, so it's just so much that happened. Like I love the women's gauntlet match was really good. Like I'm biased to the Penta stuff, so I absolutely love the Penta stuff. And he had a decent match. I got exactly what I wanted out of Oba and Rusev. The Judgment Day turn was really, really good. That was really greatly executed. You even got a little nugget of what happened, to see what happens if they do anything with Javon Evans that's productive. And then you get the fucking close. Like, you get the close. Like, that's a worthy 2.5 hour show. Like, it is a solid show. A lot of great character work from even like the women during the show, which was a standout. So sometimes, like, could it always be better? Yeah, but every week you're not going to get a segment. You're not going to get 2 segments that's this good on the show, which is kind of why I'm going a little higher, because I highly doubt we're going to get this good like that with the turn and with what happened with CM Punk and the Usos. So I'm on the higher side, but I have a feeling I'm gonna have a reason later on as to why this one is going to be on the higher side. This is a lot of nuggets from this episode that's going to really carry over into the weeks to come.
So this is the tough part. I'm going to give the tough one first. Moment of the night. You got to choose between the Usos and Punk and the Judgment Day turning on Finn.
I'm going to go with the Usos and Punk. Just because of the
that works perfect, because I'm going with the Judgment Day turning on Finn.
That's fine. Because the level of substance that came with that last promo was just, that was beautiful. Yeah.
2 really good segments on this show. So
I like
that we split.
If anyone calls them co-MVPs, have it. Absolutely.
Yeah. MVP for the show, though.
This one's hard.
I will give it to Jimmy Uso. I'm going to give it to Jimmy Uso. I thought that was one of his best character works in like 2-3 years.
That was amazing work by Jimmy Uso. I will completely agree. But I'm going to go off the kilt here. I'm going to go with my MVP as CM Punk. Because CM Punk did not waver. That man stuck to his guns, whether you fuck with it or not. That man did not waver.
Nope. Great job. LVP for the show, definitely Rusev.
Yeah. Back-to-back weeks. Absolutely. Rusev. Go back-to-back on him.
And match of the night, the women's number 1 contender Gauntlet.
The women's Gauntlet. Yeah, for sure.
That's going to bring us to a close on Rated Raw Review. Want to thank you guys so much in the live chat. You guys have been awesome, giving your thoughts, sharing your thoughts on last night's show, creating some conversation with us. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up, share this video, subscribe if you are new, and join us back here every Tuesday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with Rated Raw Review. Top Guy JJ, thank you as always for joining me and talking about Monday Night Raw. The floor is yours. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you again.
On Instagram, you can find me at TrueHeel_Top Guy JJ, and on the YouTube channel, I should be back here next week for Rated Raw Review. I know one of these Tuesdays this month, I think it's 2 weeks, or the week after, that I will have to take off. But for my True Heel Heat episode, as promised, my True Heel Heat appearance will be March 28th. It will be 2.5 weeks from today.
There we go. So you'll see Top Guy back on at the end of March. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHeelSB3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Heel Heat. Patreon.com/True Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best way to support us when we're not live here. Check out yesterday's NXT Vengeance Day review and myself breaking down the action from the latest NXT PLE. I will be back all pre-recorded video, but check out our review of the Eve Wrestle Queendom 8 review, breaking down my live perspective of the show I went to at the Indigo O2 on Sunday. That will be up on the channel tomorrow. I will be back live with you 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with AE Ramble on Thursday. with Jimmy Macaram reviewing the Go Home Show, AEW Dynamite, ahead of Revolution. And on Friday, we got our Revolution preview, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. On Saturday, the True Hill Heat Flagship podcast with final predictions for Revolution and talking about the week that was. And we got Revolution watch party on Sunday and a Revolution review next Monday. So a lot of great content for you to enjoy here on the channel. For Top Guy JJ, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been Rated Raw Review number 110, Family Feud, for the March 9th, 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw. We are signing off until next time.
We got some substance.
Only took